Hello. Hi, Jack. Nice to see you again.
Good morning.
And oh, hi, Deborah. Hi, Dan. And who's that? Jen. Hi. I'm trying to connect to this one, which has a better camera. So give me a second, this other computer. Because when the light is back there, as it is right now, it's kind of hard to see me. So I have a different computer here that I point towards me so that you guys can see me better. Let's see. Can you hear me well? Because I need to make sure that can you all hear me?
Yes.
Yep. Thank you. Great.
Unfortunately, we have no power in Rotary, so
Okay, say that again.
I'm gonna have to jump off until our power gets back on because I'm running on just the battery of my phone. And
Oh, no. Okay. So is in the power is like out, is like one of those where they warn you that'll stay out, that kind of thing. Can you hear me now? No. But you can't hear me now? No. Oh, you can. Okay. Sorry, when I say can you hear me, somebody has to make some noise. All right, I'll turn this camera off and you'll see me on this one, which is a bit better. All right. Sorry, you were talking about that the power is out and you're on your phone. Whoever was talking.
I think she said that she has to save the battery on her phone. So she can't stay on her phone.
Okay, I was turning on my other computer and I didn't see who it was. Was that Shelley who said that? I believe.
No.
It's someone who came in and left then, because I don't see them. Okay, that's what's happening. That's why I was like, wait, it didn't sound like Shelley. I know it wasn't Deborah. Okay. All right, let's let a few more people in. Oh, there it is, Jen, who is now joining us again. There you go. I knew I'd seen someone. I'd send hello to some name that wasn't showing up anymore. There we go. Jen. Welcome to class. And it's great to see so many new faces. And I think Jen is trying to connect again. And one more person. Let me see. Okay. Oh, hi, Sarah.
I got to rename me.
Yeah, you do. Do you know how to do it, or do you want me to do it for you?
Yeah, could you do it or walk me through it?
Yeah. So I'd rather walk you through it because I'd rather teach than do for you as usual.
Yeah.
Go to where you see your own face, your video of yourself. And then when you hover over that with your mouse, the 3 little dots appear on the top right.
Yeah.
Click on those 3 dots and then go down to rename.
Oh, yeah. Okay, cool.
There you go. And everyone else here has their full names on, so that's great. So what I usually ask at the beginning is for everyone to put whatever name they want to be called, because it's not always what's on the roster. And then their last name. That way later I can track who you are when I compare to the roster, because I need to run attendance and things like that. So there you go. So let me see. Okay, so we have people coming in different stages. So if you came in today is because you're either completely new to me, which yes, I see Shelley and Dan, you guys are completely new to me. And Jen, who is trying to connect and is dropping out again. I see her connection coming in and out. So I don't think she's going to be able to stay. And then Jack, you've been with me a long time ago, in and out, right? Oh, your sound is off. Unmute yourself.
There, I'm an old person, I said.
Yeah, so well, not necessarily that, but it was since pre-pandemic since you've been in a class, right?
2000 and what, 4? No, a long time.
Yeah, but I remember you. You came to class yesterday, and even with your mask, I remembered you. So that's awesome. And then Deborah, who has been more consistently in my classes through the pandemic. So hi. All right. Sarah, I met in the summer, right?
Yeah.
That you took a class before. Yeah. So anyway, I'm going to just tell you a couple of things that have to do with how I run the class before others join me. Then we'll jump into Photoshop and everything that the class entails. But first, it's more about first Zoom itself, which is once everyone's here, there's going to be a lot of faces. And I'm going to be asking questions to the group. And I'll say things like, did this work? Give me a yes or give me a no. And if it's a yes, that's great. And if it's a no, I'll help you one-on-one and stuff like that. Or I'll say, do you have a PC or do you have a Mac, right? So give me a yes if you have a PC or a no if you have a Mac, that kind of thing. So the responses that you need to give me are using the reactions button. So down there at the bottom where all the toolbar is, there's a little emoji, a little smiley face. And so if you see it, go ahead and give me a yes, which would be the green check mark. Great. All right. And Jack, do you find it? Okay. So that same place where you unmuted yourself, right? Where you went and turned the mute on and off. That's the toolbar, the Zoom toolbar. Keep going to your right, and there's other, different kinds of choices like the chat and things like that. And then at some point you should see the smiley face. If you don't see it, you will see 3 dots that say more. If your window is really small, then you'll have to click on that more because it'll be hiding under the more. Then you'll see the reactions there. Once you find it, go ahead and give me a little green check mark. Usually this part, believe it or not, is one of the harder ones because I can't share my Zoom screen. And so it's the only time when I have to kind of gesture and have you guys guess, right? After that, I can show you Photoshop and you guys follow through. Hi, so Moni, is this the Moni that I know? Because it always
yes, this is Moni.
Okay.
I'm actually logging in early just because I have to run and take my son to an appointment. So I'm going to be a little bit late at 10. So
Okay.
I'm just getting in.
Got it. That's great. Go ahead and change your add your last name too.
Yes,
okay.
I will do that.
There you go. Thanks.
Sure.
All right. So Jack, let me help you find let me help you walk you through how to get the yes. So head down to the same place where you turned your sound on and off. I see that you just turned it on. Okay. Now start reading out loud. Tell me to the right. What do you see? Do you see a chat button? What do you see in the bottom?
The bottom, it says mute my, way at the bottom.
Mute. It says mute. What else?
Read those things. Mute my audio, stop video, blur my background, choose virtual background, choose video filter, choose avatar.
I want you to go kind of to the right. If you've got the video and the sound, if you keep going to the right, are you seeing that? Not as a menu under that, but
way down in the menu bar, way down the bottom of the screen.
Well, tell me something that you're reading and I'll tell you if it's the right one. Just
There's
tell me what you
stop video.
That one, yeah, keep going.
Okay, participants chat.
Perfect.
Share screen.
Yep.
Record.
Reactions.
Reactions. You found it. That's the one. That's the one. Bingo. All right. So in the reactions button, now click on that and then give me a green check mark, which is yes, I found it, basically. Yay, you found it. Awesome. There you go.
This is easy.
So someone else is in class with you. Who's that? Do you want to introduce them?
That is my kind wife, Leslie, who has taken a class from you in the past.
Several.
Yeah, I never knew. I've seen you independently in class. I didn't know that was wife and husband. So hi.
She's lucky.
I'm moral support here until 10 o'clock.
All right.
Look out.
Thank you for helping. Wonderful. All right. It's great when I see faces. That said, when I went in person to class and see the same people, sometimes I don't recognize them as much as they might look at me and go, well, that's not how I pictured you from the video. It's really different when you finally meet in person, right? But anyway. And then, so here comes Rebecca. Hi, Rebecca. How are you? So Moni and Rebecca, do you remember where the emoticons, where the emojis are to say yes? If you find it, give me a yes. Now, why I use the yes and the no is because they stay. as you might notice, Moni just gave me a thumbs up, and pay attention. And in like 3 seconds, the thumbs up is going to disappear. There you go. That's what happens with the other emojis. So that's why I need you to actually give me the yes or the no or the raise hand. Those 3 stay. So those are the ones that I use all the time. Now, if I'm telling a joke and you want to laugh, ha ha ha, be my guest to put the other emojis in there. But it's the ones that when I'm polling the class that I need the ones that stay there. So Monica, do you find the yes, the check of the green check mark? Oops, I left my water in the kitchen. I'll have to run to get my water in a second. Yeah, there you go. And now and then I might, when you have a second computer, so see how Shelly's here twice, now and then I might forget for a second because I'll see that Shelly in one isn't answering, and I might go Shelly, and then I'll go, oh yeah, you answered in the other one, right? So you don't have to answer in both, but now and then I might say that, and then I'll catch myself and I'll go, oh yeah, you said yes in your other one. All right. Now what Moni just did is she just raised her hand. Is that an actual question, or are you just raising your hand because you're testing your buttons, Moni?
No, I'm just letting you know that I'm heading out for the appointment, so I won't be in the,
But you've
you know,
done
so I won't be responding if you ask me questions.
You've done this part. You're fine. Yeah, go ahead.
Okay,
and
thanks.
now, with her hand up, for me and for you guys, you know how Moni suddenly went to the top left, right? So that's when you have a question and, you know, in the middle of what I'm saying, and then you'll interrupt with a question. Instead of, sometimes it's fine to just interrupt and say, can you say that again, or something like that. But if it's actually a question that's coming up, raising your hand, go ahead and everyone raise your hand and see how that works. And it's the same set of buttons, the same reactions, only it at the bottom, there's this long one under the green check mark, and it's a raise hand. Did you find that, Jack?
Yeah.
Yeah, so when you click on the reactions button,
Yeah.
from the bottom up, the first thing you come to, it's kind of like a space bar in that it's long. That's the raise hand. Can you
Okay,
click
it
on
says
that one?
it says play chime for raised hands.
Play chime. Okay,
Play
that's a
chime for raised hands. You want
We're not getting the box that shows everything. All we're getting is the yes check mark.
huh. Under the reactions, you're getting the yes, and you don't get the yes, the no, a red one, the thumbs
no.
up.
There's no.
Do we have to take the yes off first?
No, try that, but you should have the whole box, which is, you know, here's, and I'm gonna, the only way I can show you these things, unfortunately, I'm going to go ahead and for a second share my screen to show you what I mean. Because if this is not what you have, then I need you to, then we need to find it. So that here, this little thing that I'm sharing right now, that's what you should be seeing when you when you click on the reactions button. You should see this raise hand, the green, and that. So that's not what you're seeing.
Now it's up.
Okay, great. All right, cool. So then if that's what you need to do, so good. I'll stop the share. Great. Now, when you raise, so go ahead and raise your hand, Jack, if you did find it. I want to make sure that it's up and running and working.
Yeah.
Again, this is just to make sure that everyone can participate with these kind of perfect. Now, Sarah, you didn't raise your hand either. And hi, Caroline, how are you?
Hi, good, thank you.
I see the top of your head.
Oh,
no, just
I
a
can't
tad
see
lower.
anything.
Hi, nice to see you. It's been, no, I met you in the summer, right? Or before that?
Yes,
Before that.
For
In the summer.
Excel.
Yeah. So we're trying out the yes and the no, the emojis that I use for class. So do you remember where they are? Can you give me a yes if you found them?
Okay.
The reactions button. And Sarah, the same place where you said yes,
Yeah,
that's where you'll find the raise hand. Can you raise? That's a thumbs up. The lowest one is the raise hand. The one that's
oh, yeah.
okay. So there we go. Perfect. So Caroline, do you see them?
When I press reactions,
Mm-hmm.
it says play chime for raised hands or recognize hand gestures.
Same thing that you were saying, Jack. I don't recognize that. When you click on reactions, you don't see a green check mark, a red
No, not
circle.
No, click
I
the
can-
actual reactions button, not that little arrow.
Oh,
That's-
yes. If there's a little arrow next to it, no, put your mouse and click on the actual smiley face.
Okay.
There you go. Yeah. If there's a little tiny arrow next to it, that's just extra things. Like maybe you want to be noticed. And so when you raise your hand, you get a little chime going with it, that kind of thing. So those are options and selections for it. But there you go. You got me the yes. Okay, great. So everyone knows where they are. As you can see, the fastest people went in first, and that's how it's going to go. In this case, the next person I would say, hey, Dan, what's your question? And then after we answer the question, I can lower his hand like I just did. And so boom, he goes down to the bottom. Or if I now say, hey, Deborah, and she feels like your question's been answered and I move on, then you guys can lower it yourself. Go through the same reactions now, everyone, and lower your hands yourself, because that same button that you raised it now says lower. Okay, there you go. Perfect. Got it. Everyone's totally down with this. And now the green and the red buttons replace themselves. So say that you had the green one and then you go to the red because first you answered yes, then you answered no. They replace themselves. But if at some point you want to turn off your yes or your no, you need to click on it again. Now, people do this by mistake. So go ahead and click on the red button this time. Give me a no. Right. And then a lot of people don't notice that they said no. And then they press the no again. Go ahead and press the no again. And it disappears. So a lot of the times people say, but I already chose it. Well, it's just that you chose it twice. And when you choose it twice, it's gone. So if you choose it twice, choose it a third time to turn it on again. Does that make sense? Or just leave it up once, unless you're changing from a yes to a no, because maybe I have a different question. Now, a lot of times when it's a yes or a no, then I'll clear all your answers and then I'll ask a different question. And then you kind of give me a question again. Okay. So that's the basic setup for how I'm going to be working as we move forward. And as you can see, if I don't get an answer from someone, I focus on them and I'll go, hey, Jag, hey, Sarah, hey, whatever. I'll make sure that they get it, because I want to make sure that everyone's at the same place and I move forward. I'm not one of those teachers that teaches something and then keeps running along and leaves everyone flapping behind desperately, right? So if I say, okay, this is what I'm going to do, and go ahead and, do it, I'll demo it, I'll share my screen, I'll demo it, and then I'm okay, go ahead and do that. And then I'll say, okay, when you did it, when you got it, give me a yes. If you're in trouble, need help, give me a no. So I'll be doing that while I'm sharing my screen. And sometimes it's harder to find these buttons when I'm sharing my screen. So I'm going to share my screen right now and ask you guys again to find these buttons to say something to me. So here's what I'm going to share. This is just a basic beginning browser window. So now that I'm sharing the screen, a couple different things happen. The first thing is that for most of you, I probably am filling your screen right now. When I share my screen kind of tends to hog your screen, right? If that's happening to you, then you need to make some space. Well, first of all, see if you can find the yes and the no. So if you can find the yes, give me a yes. So right now, in the midst of me sharing my screen, can you find the yes? Is it still easily visible? Yeah, everyone mostly is saying yes. Caroline, perfect. Awesome. So that was easy, right? To find the buttons where those are. Now it's going to get slightly more complicated, because other than Shelley, who's here twice, I'm going to recommend that anyone else who has two screens or two computers, or, one computer with two displays, or if you have an iPad, that you connect twice, just like Shelley did. Now, she already asked me on the phone, on the email. She was way ahead of you guys, but that's this ideal solution, because then you can watch me on one, and then on the other one, you do your work. But the reason I want you to connect on both is because, say that you do get stuck and you need help and you need to share your screen with me, well, then you're already connected on that screen that you're working with. Does that make sense? So that's just the fastest way. Now, if you do have a second display or an iPad, a phone doesn't work, because watching me on a tiny phone doesn't, I'll be showing you little buttons, and I've not found that to work. But if you have an iPad, another display, or another computer, no matter if it's an old and, barely working one, it usually works for Zoom. You can put that one next to you and connect to the same link, and then you just see me on that one, right? So those of you who have one of those, go get it and connect it. Okay, so that's like for you guys. And now I'm going to talk to the ones who do not have a second option. Okay, so off with you to find your second something, those of you who have that second something. And now the ones who are left means you don't have a second something, and you have to share the screen where I'm talking to you, not me, you don't need to see me, but imagine that this thing that says Firefox right now is what I'm sharing with you. Or what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to share, for example, this is Photoshop. So, and there's Rebecca. Okay, you're coming in again. Perfect. So that's your second screen. So say that this is what I'm sharing with you, and you have, hold on. Need to change my share. So you have a second screen, you need to turn the sound off on the second one. So Rebecca,
I'm trying to.
whichever one you can see the mute button, sometimes the mute is enough. Looks like it worked because they were not doing sound. Sometimes the mute is not enough. And sometimes what you need to do is you need to disconnect the sound. So, but that seems to have worked. Can you say something? Can I hear you still, Rebecca?
I think you can.
I can hear you through the other one. Okay. Because sometimes putting the mute button on is all you need. Now, you don't necessarily have to have the video on the second one if you don't want. Like, you can have it blank on the second one. I mean, it's up to you if you don't want to be, showing yourself twice. But what would be good is to see you at least once. Now, I'm going to share. This is Bridge. Doesn't matter. You don't have to have it open yet. This is Photoshop. I'm just showing you that what I'm going to be doing is showing you something here, how to do this, how to do that, yada, yada. So my face is not what you need to see, but what I'm sharing. But at the same time, you need to work. You need to actually do the work on the second, on your own same screen. This is for people who have one display only, right? So this window that right now is taking over your screen, you need to be able to make it fit only half your screen to watch me. And then you'll open your own Photoshop or the VDI to get Photoshop, and then you'll do that on the other half of the screen. So your one display was going to have to be split into two. Does that make sense? All right.
Yeah.
So the first thing you need to do is hit your escape key. So your escape key is, you can hit your keyboard, the top left key of all the keys is the ESC for escape. So when something is full screen, which is what happens when I share my screen, your Zoom automatically by default gets full screened. How to turn it off from full screen is hitting the escape button first. For some of you, that solves it. Your window got small. For others of you, that seems to have done nothing. But it has kind of disconnected, unglued, if you want, the edges of your window. And now it's up to you to grab your mouse, go grab the edge of that window and make this that you're seeing right now that says, never wait for meetings again, use time to learn Photoshop. That's me sharing. Go ahead and grab that from the very edge and wait. And if your mouse is going to turn into like a little double-headed arrow, and then you could make it smaller. So if I go ahead and head to the corner of my screen, then I can see, kind of make it, reduce its size, something like that. So see how I have a little double-headed arrow there on that thing? So that would be the idea. I'm gonna wait and see people who have only one display to tell me how that's working. Have you been able to move me, this window that I'm sharing with you, to occupy only about half of your screen? Let me actually clean your answers. Here's where I'm going to go ahead and clear all your feedback, which is from other stuff. And so even if you did just answer again, have you been able to occupy only half your screen with my shared page, and that leaves half of your screen ready to open up a chance for you to work? Great. And then Dan, you're joining us on your iPad, so that's great. So then you won't have to share your screen. Awesome. Let me see. So Caroline, how's it working with you? Were you able to do this half and half?
When I try to launch the meeting on my iPad, it says Safari cannot open the page because the address is invalid.
Do you have Zoom installed on your iPad?
I'll check.
You gotta download Zoom.
Okay.
Go ahead and download Zoom, and then it should default to Zoom. So check in on that.
Okay.
Everyone else, so Dan and Shelley are on second, and Rebecca, you're all on second displays. Moni will be when she comes back. Deborah, do you have your half screen? Do you
Yes.
have a way to work with half? And
Yes,
Jack,
I do.
you're all set up, Jack, to work with half of your screen? You said yes, so I guess that means nope.
No,
nope.
I'm not
You're
sure.
saying
No.
yes, but now I'm seeing your head going no.
My guru will tell you what I think.
All right, Guru, what's happening there?
Well, what he did was he made your screen half and your picture half, but you wanted the whole thing to be half.
I want the whole thing to be half. You don't need to look at my face. My face, you know, hey, it's just my face. You need to see my Photoshop. Okay, so you can make me tiny, make me disappear. Sometimes you can't. You need to go to the outside of that window and grab from the edge of that whole window to move it in. See if you can do that. Let me actually, I'm going to stop my share for a second, because then that gives you a chance to kind of see the layout of the land. You're going to need, choose one side of your screen, right or left, right? And leave that empty, whichever, your choice, whichever one. And move Zoom to occupy only half your screen, which tends to be easier now. Thing is that when I share again, it'll go full screen again. But if you do it now, sometimes that setting kind of stays there. So were you able to move Zoom right now to be only half your screen?
Yeah.
Remember, you have to hit your escape key first. Okay, because the escape key is the one that disconnects. And if you've done it once, that's enough. But I just want to make sure you did that first. Otherwise, it doesn't connect. Let me give you an example. I'm going to go ahead and share my entire desktop right now. And so now my entire desktop is filled with a screen. If I filled your screen too, then you can't work on your own thing. So I'm going to hit escape right now. And when I do that, because I'm sharing my screen, then my mouse now can go here to the very, very corner. See over here in the gray area, my mouse, I can go to the very, very corner. Like it feels like I'm putting it outside of the screen. And then I can click and drag and make it fill only half of my screen. Does that make sense? Which would leave the other half available for me to put my own Photoshop in, kind of like this, right? So what I'm doing right now is giving you an example of what you would want. You would want me on one side and Photoshop on the other side, but I'm filling your whole screen right now. So so you need to do it within your own space. So anyway, I'm going to move my stuff out. Did that work for you at all? Did that help seeing you?
No, I think the problem is that he needs to view your screen without the picture of you on it. We're seeing you and your screen together.
Okay, so then at the top of your Zoom, top right of your Zoom window, there's a little icon and it says view as gallery or view as, it says view as speaker, view as gallery, view. There's a couple of views there, right? So try those. I'm going to share my screen again and see if you can scroll through those to see the one that minimizes me the most. So now I'm going to share, hold on, I'm going to go ahead and share this way. This is the hardest part of the whole class, as I said.
That's good.
I can't do this. I can't even like go in there and show exactly what I'm doing because Zoom doesn't share itself. So I have to just kind of walk you through it. After that, trust me, it'll work. So everyone, thanks for being patient. All right. So were you able to shift through different views to not have to see the big old me?
Keep going. We got to try the rest of them. Hide self view. Maybe that's it.
And then just kind of narrate what's happening so I can direct you. So I need to see tell me what's happening.
I'm up in the upper right-hand corner on the view, on the Zoom screen, I believe. And I'm trying at the top to standard.
Okay.
That's standard.
That gives everybody along the side.
Everybody's along the side.
Okay.
Firefox is.
So, and
along
if you have everything along the side, you can even grab the edge of where you see everyone and kind of move it to the right and make that everyone even smaller. You can make everyone's windows really small. That kind of makes you see things better.
Mhm.
But I'm probably still filling your screen. So can you go outside of where you see everyone and grab from there and then just drag the whole thing over a little bit?
Mhm, things like that. Well, and then it popped back. I don't know. All right.
Nothing happening yet?
It moves over and then it pops back when I let go of the.
All right. So here's
Yeah.
what I'm going to do. If none of this works, there's one final option. At first I try. And then
final thing.
after a bit, there's one more option. And that one more option is that you can flip between watching me do something, then flip to you doing it with just a shortcut with your mouse. So do you have a Mac or a PC, Jack?
Mac.
You're a Mac. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Put your mouse on one of your fingers. Everyone try this. This is a great, if you don't know it, it's a great tip. If you have a PC, put your mouse on the control key, your thumb on the control key. If you have a Mac, put your thumb on the command key. And then with your middle finger, I guess, hit the tab key. The tab key is kind of on the left side above the caps lock kind of place. So when you do that, then, and I'm going to have to share my entire screen to show you this. So give me, I have to do a new share for you to see what's happening when I do that. Okay. So when I do that, I hold down the command and I tab. What happens is all programs that are open on my computer pop in, and then tab, 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 tab. Each time I tab, it shows something different. So if I go ahead and say tab right there and now let go of my command or control key, then my notes will pop in. Thing is that I have them on a different screen, so you're not seeing them actually. Here, let me bring them into this screen. So then my notes pop up to the beginning. Then I go tab, 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 and now leave it on BR, and then Bridge pops up. Now, you probably don't have Bridge or Photoshop open if you don't own them yet, but that's like tab, 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 and then, the preview pops up. So first of all, if you do have, as me, a ton of different things open, don't do that. Close them. Photoshop is going to take a lot of Photoshop and Bridge are programs that take a lot of computer resources. So if this is your situation, stop on all the ones you don't need. So for example, I don't need right now my my Acrobat open. And so I'm going to let go of my command key right here. My Acrobat's going to pop in and I'm going to just quit Acrobat, right? So I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need that. And then I'm going to do this, and I'm going to do the same thing with preview. So I'm going to go over here when I hit preview. Okay, so is this whole thing working for everyone? The tab with the command or control key to flow through your apps? Let me actually clear your feedback. Were you able to do the whole command or control tab, tab, tab to work through all the apps that you have open? Jack, did that work for you?
Yes.
Right.
I'm doing it with my dock, but that's because I'm in a hurry.
Well, with your dock, it works too. And then, for example, if I want to first see Photoshop, I click here on Photoshop and Photoshop comes in. If I click here, Bridge comes in. If I click here, Firefox comes in. So that works too, as long as you're comfy with that. Now I'm going to click on Word here and close it from there. So for Mac people, you can do that. Now here's the thing. That's how you're going to have to handle it then, Jack. Okay. When you see me, you'll be on Zoom and I'll show you something. And then I'll say, okay, go do it. And you'll have to do either go to your dock or go to your tab, click on Photoshop, have Photoshop open up and do it. But then you won't be able to see me at the same time. You'll have to be like, okay, watch me do it. Go to Zoom, right? So you'll go tab, tab, tab to Zoom. Watch me do it. And then you'll go, okay, tab, 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 tab to Photoshop and then go do it yourself. Does that make sense?
Somewhat.
Yeah, either that or go to your doc and say, okay, I'm watching you on Zoom, and then you have Zoom, and then you'll go, okay, now I'll do it on my own, and you'll click on Photoshop. So when we get into having, and I know you do have Photoshop, we'll get through all of that, but I know that you also are trying to get a different version of Photoshop. So I'm going to start talking about that in a minute. First, I just wanted to make sure that you all had that. Now,
How do you close the apps that are open again?
Are you on a Mac or on a PC?
A Mac.
Okay, so when the easiest thing is to go down to the dock, and anything that has a little dot underneath, and it's kind of hard to see, but I have a little dot under Photoshop, that means it's running. I have
Okay.
a little dot under that. So say that I don't need this one, the activity monitor anymore. I right click and I say quit, and that'll close the activity monitor. Okay. Now
Okay.
on Excel, I have the roster. You're not seeing it because I have it on a different monitor, but I need Excel open. On notes, I have some links that I give you. And then these are Photoshop Bridge and Firefox, which is where I'm going to show you how to get Photoshop if you guys don't have it. So I need all of these open, but everything else that I didn't need, I already just turned it off. Did that work for you now?
It,
We're able to,
yeah.
okay, great. All right, on PC, you don't right click, you just kind of click over here on the taskbar, and a little window pops up with that program, and you click the little X, and then that closes it. Okay, so hopefully now you all have everything as clear and clean as you can. This big window that I'm sharing right now is very uncomfortable because, you know, by being so big, by the time you see it, it's this tiny little thing. So I will rarely share such a big window. I'm usually going to share just the piece that I'm trying to show you versus my entire desktop. Now, okay, so when we get around to saying, okay, Jack, we're gonna do this, you do that, I'm gonna see if I can remind you how to go back and forth. There's
got
two
half a
things we need to
screen now.
open right now. What's that?
I have half a screen now.
Oh, awesome. But see, I stopped my share. It's when I share my whole screen that we need to make sure that you have a screen too. So let me do a quick one more test. I'll share one screen. Do you also have a half a screen now?
Yes,
Okay. Yes. Awesome. What a great coach you are.
I tell you.
All right. So, all right. So now there's two things I want you to do. First of all, I need you to know where all of the class handouts and materials and all of that are. So I'm going to ask you to open a browser. I have Firefox open. You can open Google, Firefox, Edge, Safari for this. It doesn't matter what browser you use, but caveat, if you are going to need to use the school's applications, meaning you're going to have to go to the browser to get into something called VDI that I'm going to teach you about to use the school's Photoshop and Bridge, then ideally you should use Chrome or Firefox. Okay. VDI works better on those two browsers. So if you only have Edge, if you're on a PC, or if you only have Safari, if you're on a Mac, that's fine. But if you begin to have something that's not working, then I'll ask you over the week, go ahead and download either Chrome or Firefox, and then use that just for the VDI portion. Okay. So we don't know yet who's going to be using VDI. So now I'm going to start doing that kind of polling. First of all, I need a yes if you have Photoshop installed on your computer and Bridge installed on your computer. If those are installed on your computer, give me a yes. If you don't have them, give me a no. Now, for those of you who do say yes, it should be a Creative Cloud subscription with the latest version. Not, some people have, you know, still like a, you know, Photoshop 6 or something like that, which is fine. You can keep using that. But when I'm handling a lot of people in different situations, I need to have the button be in the right place, in the same place. So if you don't have a new version, then I'll give you access to the school. I'll show you how to access the school ones. All right, Caroline, what's your situation?
Well, I'm trying to get Zoom on my iPad.
All right, but to the question, do you have Photoshop on your computer?
No, I don't.
All right, so if you have a minute to give me a no, that's good. Otherwise, that's good. So everyone else has answered. All right, so 3 of you have it, 4 of you don't. Moni does have it, and then whoever else is joining us later either has it or already knows how to get it, because that's why they're joining us later. So, first I'm going to show you how to get to the class handouts, okay? And those of you who have it installed on your computer, anyone who said green, oh, Deborah, you were green. Now it's a red, so it's a no. What's your position?
I don't have Photoshop yet. I'm trying to decide how to, I want to get it privately. I just haven't done it.
Okay, so there's 2 things I'm going to show you. First of all, how to buy it as a student, because if you buy it on your own, it's ridiculously expensive as a person. And if you buy it under Adobe's student account, it's also much more expensive than if you buy it through the City College Consortium of California, where you get it for ridiculously cheap. Now, ridiculously cheap means you get it, the whole package of Creative Cloud, for either you can get a 6-month subscription for $40 or a whole year for $80. People who are paying right now the regular student subscription, it's like $30 a month, and the private subscription is like $50 a month. So I'm telling you $80 for the whole year, okay? So if you happen to be one of the ones that's paying a ton, you can change your subscription and get this, but only if you're paying an annual subscription where you have a certain amount to go, Adobe wants you to pay off half of it or something like that. So you need to decide which one's better. But off the top of my head, it's really hard for any of those options to be worse than just getting it for $80 for a whole year, right? And here's the good news. This class is only 6 weeks, but and by the way, after that, I teach Illustrator and InDesign. So people who want to continue with this whole conversation, there's classes that come after this one. But if all you want is Photoshop and you're done in 6 weeks, I teach another nighttime Photoshop to get after in 6 weeks. But if you're done, that's okay, because this, as long as you're a student 1 time a year, you can keep that subscription going. Okay. So it's not like in 6 weeks, you won't be able to use it anymore. It's truly a subscription for a whole year. All right. So if that's what you want to do, I'm going to show you right now where to go do that. And then the third tier is, no, you don't want to buy it even for 40 for 6 months or 80 for a whole year, in which case you can access it through a system called Virtual Desktop Interface, VDI, where you open a browser and connect to the school as if you were driving to school, but you're going to like do a whole connection through the VDI, and then you can open up a browser on your screen as if you're at a school computer and use the school's applications. This one tends to be a bit more tricky. So if if you can handle $40 for 6 months or 80 a year, I recommend that system. But I don't need to have you spend money if you don't even know if you want Photoshop. Why would you spend any money? In which case, I'll walk you through the whole VDI. Okay. So now I know that 2 of you have it. So I'm going to clear your answers. And for everyone else, if you're thinking that you're going to want to buy it for 40 or 80, give me a yes. If you're thinking that I'm testing the waters, I don't know if I want this, I'm going to get I'm going to use it through VDI, then give me a no.
VDI is what I want. Right?
Okay. VDI would, yes, you said yes. Yes would mean that you are going to buy it and install it on your computer for either $40 or $60. And let me say something. Prices of everything just went up yesterday. I'm going to talk a little bit about that, but yesterday, the new Adobe, the new version came out, and it is hugely based on artificial intelligence. Anyway, generative stuff. It's pretty mind-blowing what's possible. But for the first time in ages, they have raised their prices. But they did say that the educational plan is the only one that's staying the same. So when I'm saying 40 or 80, I'm under the assumption that the educational price is still the same. Other than that, it's only raised by a few dollars. So it's not going to be that much more. It does accumulate when you pay a monthly thing, right? But anyway, all right. So I'm seeing Sarah, you're going to go through VDI, and Jack. Oh no, you're going to buy it. You're saying, and then Jack. a yes means you're gonna buy it?
Yes.
Okay, so I do know that by the time other people join us, there's other people who use VDI all the time, but there are people who are really comfy with their computers and they've been using it for a long time. So I won't have to do anything. If all of you guys are going to buy it, then I won't teach you how to use VDI, and I'm just going to go ahead and show you how to buy it. So let me do that. I'm going to head over to Firefox, and then for those of you who are already paying it, you might want to consider whether this is something you might want to do by the educational version. So now what you need to do is open a browser and put that browser on the side. I'm showing you my browser. It happens to be Firefox. Open your browser, put it on the side, and now we're going to do parallel browsers. Okay. You don't need to buy it right now, by the way, because to use Photoshop today, I'm going to see how long this takes, but you probably will still have to use VDI now that I think about it, because this process, because it's not buying it straight from Photoshop, between you buying it and you having it installed, it might take 3 days to a week. So if you're going to buy it soon, because they have to confirm that you're a student, and then they have to send you another link, and then you have to install it. So sometimes they reach out to you in a day or two, and sometimes I've heard people it takes as long as a week. So let's head over to what we're going to do is we're going to write collegebuys.org. And what I'm going to do, I'm going to put the link right now in the chat so that you don't have to even write that. Okay, I just put a link in the chat. Oh, I forgot to say that everyone has to sign into the chat. You see how Moni said good morning and then she left because she knows the system. When you pop in the morning, go into the chat and give me a little hey ho, hello, hi there, whatever you want to say. Or if you might need to have a question, you might say something, right? And don't say it to me, say it to everyone. You have a choice to write to just me or to write to everyone. As long as it's not, my head hurts and I need to leave, that's fine to tell it to me. But any question that has anything to do with what I'm saying, class or anything, write it to everyone so people know what question I'm addressing, right? All right, so in that chat there, at the very top, I just put a link. So I'm seeing all of your hellos coming in, so that's great, thank you. Now, I'm going to put the link again, click on the link that I just put in there, and you should be getting to this page, the page that I'm sharing with you right now. The College Buys page. Now, this is a Foundation for California Community Colleges, and this is why it's a roundabout way of buying it, but it's the cheapest way. So we're going to scroll down a little bit, and they always change a bit, but over here we have retail program offerings for students, faculty, and staff. So the College Buys e-store. So go ahead and click on the College Buys e-store.
Whoops, wait a minute.
And here's the Adobe Creative Cloud available for only $39.99. That's a 6-month subscription. I say 40 or 80, but they say $79.99, $39.99. So there you go. By the way, before we go into Adobe Creative Cloud, there's other stuff they sell. You know, as a student, you can get, good deals on a bunch of other stuff. But now we're going to head over into the Adobe Creative Cloud. So let's click on, you're not ordering it yet, but click on order now. And it'll take you to another place where either a semester for $39.99 or an annual one for $89.99. You could select your school to see to qualify, but we do qualify. So you'll select it somewhere else. Don't bother doing it here. Go ahead and now click on one of these two. So anyway, I'm going to go ahead and click on the $80 one, for example.
We don't have a choice.
We don't have a choice.
All right. Well, then just click on the one that you have. It doesn't matter. Because you should get to this place. And then here you can choose 6 months or 12 months, right? And it changes the price. So now I'm going to clear your answers. And I want you to give me a yes when you make it to this page. And if you didn't make it to this page and I left you behind, I'll go back again and show you how to get here. I am pretty desperate for I'm going to go get my water. Give me a sec, you guys. My mouth is dry.
That's by now. All right.
Now you can say yes.
Now I can say yes. Oh boy, oh boy.
Oh, but it says 39. Oh, these are the options. There's the other one.
I don't know. Sure.
All right. So it's not that my house is that big, it's just that my dog was wanting to be let in. So I did 2 in 1.
First
Okay.
things first.
Yeah. Okay. So is everyone at this page, Caroline? I'm not getting yeses or nos. How are you doing? I know you're still working on your iPad, but are you going to try to buy it? Are you needing to come to this page?
I'm gonna try to buy it, but I got lost long ago. My mouse isn't working all of a sudden, so
On your computer or on your?
I'm just using the finger pad.
Okay. So tell me where you are and I'll walk you through this again. Do you see the chat and the link that I put in the chat? Otherwise, I'll put the link
No.
in. Okay, I'll put it in one more time because when I put it in, it kind of pops up. Do you see it now?
No, no.
So do you see the button for your chat? Click on your chat. I'm going to stop my share for a second. Can you find your chat button between the mute button and the reactions button? Somewhere in the middle, you'll see one that's a chat. It's like a little talking bubble. Do you find it?
No. I think okay.
If you were to mute yourself right now, go to where you would mute yourself. Do you see that?
Yes.
Okay. Now find that mute button. Don't mute yourself, but now start moving your eyes to the right. And you should, of all those little things that you see, one should say chat. And
I don't see it.
I'll put the link again. Now that you know where to look, it should pop up in there. Is it? Kind of pops up in the bottom. No?
No.
All right. Read to me. Go from the mute button to the right. Read to me what you're seeing, because it's possible that you have it minimized. What are you seeing to the right of your mute button?
Stop video, reactions, apps, whiteboards, more.
Okay. Under more, go ahead and click on more and see if you see chat.
No.
The way you read it, it's like you skipped over the area that you should have said chat. So you saw the start or stop video, then you went straight to share screen, did you say? Keep going. Start again from the left to the right. Hello, Kenya. Good morning.
Stop video, participant. Okay, I see chat now.
Yeah. Okay, good. So click on that chat.
Okay.
And here's that link. Hi, Ed. Nice to see you. It's been a while. Haven't seen you all summer. Hi, Eugenia. You're getting your headset on. Okay. Now in the chat, do you see the link? I'm talking
Yes.
to Caroline. Okay. So click on that link. And that link should take you to that first page. So for those of you who just arrived, I know, Ed, you have all the apps and every other app in the world that has to do with photography. Ed is a really good photographer, and he checks in here and learns, you know, whatever I have to teach him, but he does a lot of stuff already. And Eugenia, and he uses other stuff other than Adobe, but he comes in here to learn the Adobe portion of it. Eugenia?
Yes.
I believe, did you buy it or do you have?
Not yet. Not yet. No,
So
I'm
you're
going
using-
to. I had a surgery, so I'm still not very well. So now I'm going to buy everything.
Okay, I got it. So you're going to use VDI today, or are you going to buy it?
Yeah, I opened VDI today.
Okay.
It's already, everything is fine. It's open.
Okay, so I'm just sharing. Everyone else who's here is going to buy it, you guys. So for those of you who just arrived, I'm sharing how to get to the to purchasing it. Okay, so just really quickly share again, because we had lost Caroline somewhere along the way, so I want to make sure that she sees this. So Caroline, when you clicked on that button in the link, you should have gotten to this page. Did you get to this one?
Yes.
Okay, so scroll down and then click here on College Buys eStore. Right? And then here you should have a choice for the Creative Cloud. Go ahead and click on Order Now.
Okay.
And then click on it again. Okay, down here, if you scroll down, you should have a choice, but if someone didn't have it, just click on it again. And then you'll be on this page. And this is kind of where I left everyone else. Oh, here's Rachel. Let me let Rachel in.
Right?
Okay. Yep. Yep. Someone was saying something.
Oh, I'm just muttering. It's Sarah.
Oh, okay. Got it. Hi, Rachel. Nice to see you.
Hello.
Rachel, did you purchase Photoshop already? I think so.
Yes.
You have all the apps. You did it on the design classes and all that. Okay, great. All right. So when we're here, here's the thing. For those of you who want to buy it, I'm just showing people how to buy it. You have to select which amount you want to pay. So say that you say you want the 12 months, it'll be $79.98. And the real price otherwise would be $600, you guys. So this is like so much cheaper. Here's the thing. It used to say here, choose your college. Oh, that's interesting. You had to choose your college here before. All right. Now it just kind of says select your school in there. Okay, let's add it to the cart. Oh, here it is. Okay, got it. So you need to click on I must use my EDU email on my billing account. So what's your EDU email? Your EDU email is your school email, and you might not even know, but you've been given a school email address that's yours. And I'm going to write it right now in the meeting chat. It's your username, your pipeline username. Okay, whichever your pipeline username is, and I have those for you in case you don't know what they are. It's your pipeline username at pipeline.sbcc.edu. Okay, so that's your school email. So if you look right now at the chat, you'll see that it says username, your username, and I have them here for you if you don't know it, at pipeline.sbcc.edu. So you need to use that email because then they'll check and see if you really are a student. And if you are a student, they will send you then to your pipeline email. And this is the part where people get stuck. They will send you instructions on how to download it. So if you don't know how to reach your pipeline email, I'll have to show you how to do that too. A lot of people pay for it and then they go, I never received it. And it's because they don't check their pipeline email because you're buying this through school. So someone had a question. Someone was trying to say something. I heard someone. No?
Yeah, I have a question, and that is it SK Lucas at pipeline@sbcc.edu?
Let me look for you. It's SK Lucas. Yeah, it's SK Lucas at pipeline.sbcc.edu. If anyone does not know the first part of their username, I have them here for you. Okay. All right, looks like everyone knows it. Okay, so then you choose that, you add it to the cart, and then you pay. Here you have to select your school, go down, and Santa Barbara City College, there it is. Okay, and anyway, there you go. And now what I'm not seeing here is to pay. Something's missing here.
You need to add it to your cart.
Didn't I? No. Oh, I didn't say yes to everything. I read and agree. My college is listed in the drop down below. I am a student in a California fellow. Great. And then you add it to your cart. All right. And then over here, you need to, check out, pay, put in your credit card and yada, yada. Now, that's right now is all you need to do. But, and this is really important, and I have in the handouts, and I'm going to take you to the handouts. I have this written out, but you need to know. First of all, they won't answer immediately. I mean, you'll get something right now in your pipeline email saying that you paid, and then today's Friday. So for sure, not until Monday, and sometimes maybe until Wednesday, you might not get an email that says, okay, yes, yay, here you are ready to go. And then it's an email with instructions on how to download it. You don't download it straight from the Adobe site. So the only hard part about this is following all these instructions. But other than that, the price is unbeatable. So in that email, it'll tell you how to do the instructions, but the most important thing you need to remember, this is not a school account, which is kind of weird because you're paying it with your pipeline and you're paying it because you're a student. But when you install it, it's going to ask you, is this a personal account or a school or company account? The answer is personal. You're paying it with your credit card. It's your money. You're giving a cheap price because you're a student, but it's yours. It's personal. If you instead say school account, people take a month to fix that because College Buys says Adobe had to fix it. Adobe says College Buys has to fix it. It becomes a huge hassle. So just remember this. When it's ready to be downloaded, they tell you to choose personal, but some people don't read instructions and then they go, oh, school, and they play, and then that becomes a humongous hassle that I can't help you with, and then you have to be on the phone forever, and people like groan, and at some point it solves itself. So just choose personal. That's all I'm going to say. Remember, personal, personal, personal. Okay. Yes, Shelley, you have a question?
Yeah, I already have a subscription for $20 a month, so I want to switch it over. So how do I do that? Just cancel the other one?
Yeah. When I called tech support, when you pay $20 a month, it's do you have the photography subscription or the Creative Cloud?
Creative Cloud.
Okay. So you have not just Photoshop and Bridge, but you have everything, Illustrator, InDesign, you have access to everything.
Yeah, not everything, but yeah, all of those.
Well, the Creative Cloud, which is almost everything. Yeah. Okay. So, all right. I called tech support and they said, since you're to pay $20 a month, because that's the student price, if you go through Adobe, that's, then it's based on a yearly subscription. So what they told me is that if you're going to leave that, since you promised to pay for a year, they're going to want you to pay, I think, half of what you owe. So say that you still owe $100 for your subscription, then they want 50. Now that's what they answered once for me before they're willing to let you out of that contract, so to say, to move to this one. For most people, depending on how long they're paying, it's still totally worth it. But I would recommend first checking in with them. Many people have done that successfully, but that they say, oh my God, I'm paying the expensive one, I want to change, and then they shift. But what you need to do first, I would think, is what I believe my students have done, and I'm trying to not mislead you, but they have paid for this. So now you've got 2 paid accounts, right? And so then when you go to Creative Cloud, you sign out of the other one and you sign in to the new one. And yeah, and then you stop paying the other one. But to just stop paying the other one, they're gonna say that you're in arrears. So you need to you need to basically pick up and call customer service and say, this is what I'm going to do. How do I deal with getting out of this contract? Like, make sure that it's okay, because you know how it is. If you don't let them know, they might go, oh, you couldn't do this. So just call them. Okay. It's worked for all my students. I usually ask people to tell me the system, and I don't think I've ever asked in what order they did it. Some of you did it here, didn't you? No, none of you.
Yes, I did.
You did it, Deborah. So
yes,
how did
I did. It worked great, but did take about 5 days.
Okay. So you bought it first, and
I
then
bought it.
Well, how did you?
No, I didn't switch from one to another. I bought for the first time the College Buys subscription.
Okay, great. No, that's fine. I just was thinking that someone here had done the switch. There's always 1 or 2 people who've done the switch. Ed, you never did that, right? You didn't do the switch?
No, I didn't. I didn't have to do that, but you're absolutely right. Adobe looks at any of their subscription pricing as an annual, and the only way you can get out of it is to pay half of what you owe.
Yeah.
Fortunately, maybe that's a small amount. You never know. I mean,
depending on how long you've had it. If you've had it for a long time, it might not be worth it. But if you've had it, you just got it.
If you want to make all your friends jealous, tell them you're getting Creative Cloud for $80 a year.
Yeah, they're gonna be like, oh my God, swords in their eyes. All right, Dan.
So I have a subscription, and it looks like it ends October 17th or something. So now I forget, on the automatic renewal, does it automatically renew at the student rate for a year, or does it increase? Do you know?
I don't know. You mean the Adobe one?
Yeah.
This one, the Adobe one, they might want to still
or something.
confirm. I just did that when you
Okay.
buy through Adobe. I don't know how they prove that you're still a student. When you buy,
Okay, which is fine. So timing for me looks like it's gonna be pretty
looks like
good.
for you, it's perfect.
Yeah.
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 Hi, Linda.
Okay.
Nice to see you.
Thank you.
All right, I think
Oh,
this
hello.
is it. I think pretty much everyone's here who's gonna be here,
Hey,
other than
Diana,
Mooney who's gonna come back. Yes.
I'm sorry. So the people that are already on a subscription plan, my suggestion would be go ahead and stay on it until it ends and then switch over. Because
but
you
if
already have Photoshop, they can do it, all the stuff they're doing. It's only if they need Illustrator and all this stuff.
No, if you're in a photography subscription plan, yeah, that's fine. Stay on it because that's $9.99 a month. But if you're in the Creative Cloud one and you're paying the real price, it's like 50 or so a month. It's not worth it. But if you're in a student version, you're paying $20 a month. That's still, $240 a year. So depending on when you started it, one might be more worth than the other, to switch. If you have $80, half of that, anyway. So yeah, just look at your timing and your due deadline and stuff like that. And yeah, if you have like automatic renewal, then make sure to turn that off so that you don't suddenly roll over into another year contract. Okay. All right. So that's that. Now, Eugenia is going to be on VDI. Linda, I know, is on VDI. And Sarah,
Yeah.
you said you're going to buy it or you're going to be on VDI?
No, I'm going to buy it.
Okay. All right. So now if you guys are going to buy it, go ahead and do this portion now. Okay. Just put in your credit card because people wait and then they remember next week and then suddenly it takes 2 weeks, right? So just do this now because it does take some time. 5 days is 5 to 7 days. And some people have told me it goes into the next week. Now, I'm going to show you in a second. Now we're going to go into how to get to the handouts. And in that process, you'll also find how to check your pipeline email in case you don't know how to do that yet. Because that's where they're going to answer. All right. Oh, here's Thomas. So that's one more. I forgot Thomas was joining us too. Here we go. All right. And then Moni is here with her second computer and cool. All right. Hi, Thomas. Nice to see you. And Moni, are you back officially? You just joined us with your second one, so I think you're here.
Yes, I'm gonna need to be in another room, so I have
That's
to.
fine. That's fine, but I know that you're around. Okay, great. I do think at this point, if I look around, I'm looking at the roster. Oh, there's someone who's not here. 2 people. Oh, and then the person at first who was trying to join who couldn't, she kept dropping from because she didn't have power. So there's 3 people who aren't here, but everyone else, nope, 4. There's 4 people who aren't here. Okay. Either join us or not. Some people just never drop the class when they're intending to not take it anymore. So, all right. Or maybe they're just going to miss the first class. All right. So let's continue. I'm going to share my screen again. And now we're going to stay on the browser and we're all going to go to our school account, to our pipeline account to find the handouts and to figure out how to pick up your pipeline email to see when they answer that your account is ready to go. So I'm going to open another little tab here. And what we're going to do is we're going to do sbcc.edu and hit return. If you want to, it's easier for you. I just put a link in the chat. Go ahead and click on that link. If you want to write more, you can write pipeline.sbcc.edu. You go straight to pipeline, but I find sbcc.edu is short. And then once you're here, you click on this big old P right here for accessing your pipeline. Pipeline is kind of going inside to your records in the side of the school. Click on pipeline. And here we are. You're going to have to enter your username and your password. Now, for those of you who are going to use VDI, and today that's most of you, because you don't have Photoshop yet. So I'm going to have, and this is the part that I'm not so sure about. But yeah, since many of you don't have Photoshop, I'm going to have to guide you all into getting onto VDI to access Photoshop for today. The thing though, is that in the past, all you needed was your username and password. Now to access VDI, you need to have something called two-factor authentication set up, which means you need to have your pipeline account with a second security level where you acknowledge that it's you using your phone, for example. So by the time I'm done explaining all of that, there's not going to be much time left for Photoshop. And that's why I'm kind of hesitating. But that's the process, because for some of you guys, you might not even have it by next Friday if your process to buy it takes a long time. So we're going to have to do that. So anyway, here we go. First, username and password, log in. And this is me having already set up the whole multi-factor thing. It's asking me over here to put in a one-time passcode. Where do I get this? From my phone. And mine is already set up. So you guys are not seeing this, but if you're going to use VDI, which is everyone who doesn't have Photoshop today is going to have to use VDI, then you're going to have to set this up. And what I do is I go to my phone, and because I told it to send it to my phone, then I will see here a little code. And the code is, and I'm going to write it in, which is 147481. Each time it's a different one. Now, I leave this one unclicked, but just so you know, it's not that bad, because as long as you say, remember this device, then the next time you come in, it believes it's you. So you don't have to do this a bunch of times. But since I have to demo this, I have to do that each time. But once you set up your multi-factor authentication and you do this once, then click on remember this device, and then you won't have to keep doing it again and again. But I'm not going to, as I said, I need to demo it. So I'm going to head into login. So does it say save? I'm not going to save right now, but that's me because in this browser, in my real one that I use, I have saved it. But here I'm not going to save it because I want to be able to show you that whole two-factor question. All right. And now we're in here. So everyone, if you've made it into pipeline, give me a yes. Once you've made it into pipeline, give me a yes.
Well, where the hell is...
What's up, Sarah? How can I help you?
Oh, no, I just...
Video on again?
Yeah, that's all right.
Yeah. All right, good. Let me see. My mouse disappeared. Here we go. I have 4 monitors in front of me, and it's confusing. I've been teaching from school all of my HyFlex classes, and I'm so accustomed to having my spread of monitors here for all my tools. Over there, I just have the 2, and it just feels so constraining. But okay, your hand is up, Jack. So I know it's weird. I know it's the embarrassment of riches. Jack, your hand is up.
Is it? We are in the page, but we need to set it up.
No, the two-factor authentication.
Okay.
That for VDI, right?
For VDI, yeah. So I'm going to pull up the okay, so when you come here to this page, this is first of all, this is where your email is. So before I do the two-factor, see up here, email, click on email, it'll open up in another page, and this should be your pipeline email. So if you've already given the credit card or something like that, go and check, and you might have here something that says that they've received your request from College Buys or something like that. Did anyone already do that whole, like, put in their credit card just now, today?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, and the email, did you get any email?
I'm just saying Google says verify it's you, so.
Okay, yeah, so go verify it's you. You need to click
continue
and verify it's you. I don't have that email myself, so I can't demo it. If someone has one and wants to demo it, but otherwise, basically, you need to just click on something to say it's you. So once that's happened, that's when after that, they're going to take a bit of time to get back to you. Okay. So you need to come back in here and check this email, because this is where they're going to get back to you. Some people forget, and then suddenly next week they go, they never answered me. And by then they could have had Photoshop installed. So please come back to this email, the pipeline email, to see when they finally send you the instructions for downloading. And then once they send them to you, remember me yelling at you, personal, personal, personal. Like I can't say that strong enough because that's where people go really, really awry. It is not a school account. It is a personal account. All right. In the same page, there's two things I want to show you. I want to show you how to get to the handouts, but first I need you to set up the two-factor authentication. Now, here's the deal. I'm saying that only VDI people need to do it, but as of spring, so anyone who's going to be a student, all of these amazing free classes, why not keep being a student here? As of spring, everyone has to do it. So already the last 2 sessions ago, VDI students had to do it. Now faculty has to do it, employees have to do it. And in spring, starting January, you all have to do the two-factor authentication or you won't be able to get in. So even though I'm saying it's just for VDI people right now, you might as well all follow these instructions and get it over with and get it done because I'm going to demo how to do it, right? So go ahead and set up your two-factor authentication. So here you have instructions. Here it's if you want it only for VDI, but if you're going to do it for one, do it for this one and just be done with it instead of just for that. So I would recommend that you click on this for the instructions. So I'm going to go ahead and here it tells you how to do it, right? Full enrollment. I'm going to open this up and share it with you guys. Okay. Now, what this means is to have you be to have you be safer. Okay. So, but I'm going to head back to this part. This is where you're going to manage it. This is where you're going to get it done. So go ahead and click on this 2FA account management there. And in case you don't have it, I'll put the link right here in the chat as well. If you don't know where that button is, I just put a link in the chat. I'm going to put it in there again. That thing I just linked would take you to this page.
That.
Yes.
This is the page you need to be in right now. If you're in this page, you're good. And as I said, yes, it's technically right now only for VDI people, but I just recommend everyone doing it because you're going to have to do it on your own otherwise. Okay. Okay.
So we're going into the 2FA full enrollment guide. Is that the one?
Now you don't need to go to the guide. Just click on the link I gave you and it'll take you to this page.
Oh.
The guide is just instructions. I'll walk you through the instructions. Just go to this page. That's really what you need to do right now. When you're in this page, give me a, did I already say to you, is those yeses that? Let me, I don't know what that yes is for. When you're on this page, give me a yes.
Where's the yes?
Give me a yes when you're on this page, and then I'll tell you how to do it.
I see the link. Okay, hold on.
First of all, you have the choice to use your phone or your email for this. I recommend the phone. It's much easier because otherwise every time you try to get in, you have to go and get your email, which you might still have on your phone, versus if you use your phone, it just pops in as a text message on your phone. So either way, if you choose to do it through email, click on register email address. If you choose to do it on your phone, click on registered phones. And do it. Go ahead and do that.
You didn't click it yet. You can choose.
And when you click on that, and I'm going to actually, there you go. I'm going to not do that because then you'll see my private information. So click on registered phones and put in your phone number. It'll say just register. I've already registered, so it says registered, but yours should say register. You know what I mean? Click in there, put in your phone number. If you want to, you can register your email address as well. So go ahead and put in the phone. It has to be a cell phone, not a landline. Okay, because a landline won't get text, right? Put in there. And once that is done, then there is something you have to refresh the page, kind of go up here and do a little refresh, and depending on the browser, you might have a refresh over here. It's always this little backwards arrow, and do a little refresh. Whoops. And that will get you set up. And then go to your phone and see if you got a text. You could click on this and check and see if, like, password reset phone, all of this, if it seems to be saying that it says phone, then you're all set up. That's good, if that's what you wanted to do. Now head over to your phone and
I'm gonna continue because it might time
you
out.
get a little code on your phone. Now, mobile authenticator, if you don't want to use your phone and it's a bit more of a complicated thing, you have to download an app called mobile authenticator. So if you don't want to use your phone, you kind of still need to pick this up on your phone. So I guess it's for if people have like counted text or something. So I wouldn't recommend, because the instructions, if you keep reading them, they explain all that. Okay, so has everyone entered their phones and refreshed? All right. So now, let me see. Oh, OTP, website login, phone change. Okay, we did it too. Okay, great. If that's what you, I just, you need to check on here to make sure that it says your phone now, like that these say your phone. As long as that, you won't have all of these choices. Some of these are for me as faculty. You should have just website and account lock. I believe those are the only two that you'll have. All right. And now let's go back. At this point, you should be able to go back into Pipeline. I've gone back and forth enough times that I don't know. And just in case you're not easily on Pipeline, if you click on, does it let you go back to the SSO portal, then click on Pipeline portal again. So what I just did is we were in this page and I went over here to where you see your name and then go back to the SSO portal. Oh, Caroline, yay, your iPad. You made it. Your iPad is coming in. Yoo-hoo.
Yay.
All right, you're in. Okay, so, and then over here, let's go back into Pipeline, SPCC Pipeline. And to get in, when we try to get into VDI, now it's going to ask you for your 2-factor authentication, and then you'll have to look for the code on your phone. Okay. All right. If you're want to make sure that it's working or not, you could sign out. You could go over here to your name and say sign out. And then if you sign out, it'll take you here again, and then try to sign in again. And that's where you'll be taken to this one. And then look at your phone. And that's where you'll find it. Now, it tends to be on that main. For me, I have my main, it just appears on my, without even going into my text, it appears kind of on the front, depending on how you have your phone set. Otherwise, go to your texts and you'll see that it says, here's your one-time use passcode for authentication. And so right now it's 482145. And if you don't want to do this again and again, remember this device, do that. And then you won't have to keep doing this.
I've lost you.
So how I got here, where did I leave you? Did I leave you? Where did I leave you? Are you still in this one here?
I'm in no, the Pipeline thing again. I went reloaded
so you're back here.
Yeah, that's where I am.
Okay. So yeah, I was saying, if you want to test it to see that it's working, you can sign yourself out. Up here is your name and test it. But if not, just test it when you try to access VDI. Okay. Now I'm going to clear your answers and I have 2 things to do still. I have to show you how to get to VDI and show you how you get to the handouts. So since most of you need VDI, we're going to do VDI first. Those of you who don't need VDI, just so you know, with VDI, you can access all of the apps that the school has, and some teachers use VDI by default to teach. So if you want to just follow along and learn how to do it, go ahead and do that, even if you don't need it for today. So I'm gonna open a new tab. And I'm gonna give you the link, but we're gonna write vmu.sbcc.edu. And I'm going to put the link in the chat. Again, once you get to this page, give me a yes.
Yeah.
That,
Hey, Linda, thanks.
Link.
yep. When you get to that page, give her a
Now, those of you who know how to do this, if you want to go to, like you don't need VDI, Ed, for example, people who don't need VDI, don't want to try it out, you can go and take a long break, check in. It'll take some time to do this with people, and then I'm going to get to the class handout. So people who've been with me before, like Linda, she just signed out for a while. Moni, people who are comfy with this and know how to get to it, you're welcome to bow out, check in 15 minutes. This isn't the official break because everyone's going to need that break, but this is an extra break because you don't need to just sit there and watch me do this with everyone if you've already done this and you know how to do this. Okay.
one of these.
All right. So, is everyone here who needs to be here? All right, I know Ed doesn't need to be here. So Moni, you have your own stuff right now, don't you? Yeah. So you don't need to be here for now if you don't want to. Deborah, you don't need to be here. So anyone who doesn't need to be here, you're welcome to go and stretch your legs. So VDI people will be everyone who doesn't have Photoshop right now. So that's who's that gonna be? Jack, Sarah, Rebecca, Caroline. I think that's it, right? Yeah. All right. So now, because I need to see when you say yes, who's following through with this. All right. So now let's go here over to this VMware Horizon HTML access right there. Click on this link. And oh, it should take you to the sign in. I've already signed in, but it should take you again to the pipeline sign in. Go ahead and put in your pipeline username and password, but I think it needs your entire email, not just the username and password. I thought I didn't have this memorized because I always demo it with this one, but I must have at some point memorized it. All right, so let's do this. Now it's harder to see who is needing this. So can you all raise your hands, those who are you doing this? I think it's Caroline, Jack, Sarah, and Rebecca. I think it's you four who are trying to get into VDI, right? And that way you cluster up on top. So if you see your hand that you can raise it, please do that.
Yeah, we're in trouble here.
What's that?
We're in trouble here.
Okay, tell me what's up.
Clicking on VMware Horizon HTML access.
What does it say now?
And up comes 415 unsupported media type.
The page you requested is not available.
Did you click on the link that I gave you?
I did.
And
I will click again. Wait, I want to. Oops. Just click on the link. Okay.
Well, you know what? When we tried to log in, it didn't ask for a passcode.
Tell me here, I'm putting a different link in there to see if that one works. Try that link that I just put in there. So when you said when you tried to relog in to VDI, it didn't ask for a passcode. Caroline, you're trying to do this too, right?
Well, I'm just finishing paying for the.
Okay. Got it.
So when I get to the pipeline, where do I go?
Did you not do the two-factor thing?
No.
Okay. So yeah, I'm gonna have to let me meanwhile help Jack and Rebecca, because then if they get in, they can go and take a break while I help you catch up.
Okay.
I'm fine if you are running behind, Caroline, but I'd rather you tell me, because then I help you catch up at that point. Because otherwise now everyone has to wait for me to catch up, not to make you feel bad, but it's to tell you next time, the moment you're not where I'm at, just tell me. And at that moment, it takes me 1 second to cap you up versus, a whole 5 minutes. Does that make sense? So my goal is for people to immediately tell me, so I help you in the moment.
Okay.
And since now there's only 4 of us, I'm just telling you that because I just want to make sure everyone gets it. I much prefer to know that you're falling behind in the moment you're falling behind. So
Okay.
like now, Jack,
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
did
ma'am.
it work this time to click on that link?
No, what we're trying to do, remember when you said check the authentication?
Yeah.
Okay, we're gonna try that again. It never asked us for a passcode, so let's try that again.
Okay, so, but when you clicked on the link, it said you couldn't, right? Is that what it said? Okay, so right now, oh, Caroline, I was about to help you. Caroline moved away for a second. Sarah?
Yeah, now.
Sarah, what's up? Are you there?
I know.
Because this is the time when I need you guys to start sharing your screens with me, okay? So then it's much faster for me to help when there's individual different things going on. So Caroline, have you ever shared your screen before?
This is my no.
Okay, so I'm going to ask you to share your screen so I can walk you step by step through what we need to do. Are you on a Mac or on a PC?
Mac.
Okay. So if you've never shared your screen before and you're on a Mac, you're going to have probably an extra step to give permission to your computer. So you need to tell me when you start doing what I tell you to do, you need to tell me step by step what you see, and I'll tell you what to click until I can see you. So first of all, and that same place where you saw the chat and the mute and the emojis and all that, do you see a green button that says share screen with an arrow? On your Zoom? Next,
No.
what's that?
Okay, what am I looking for?
Okay, so something that says share screen, it's green. So next to the chat, next to the record, next to the mute button, next to that, there should be a green one. It stands out and it says share screen. Do you see that?
Share content. Share
What's that?
content. Share content.
No, did you say share screen yet already or not?
No.
Share content. Here's what it should look like. I'm going to do a little screenshot of it because I'm not sure that we're talking about the same thing. Hold on. Let me share that little button that you should be looking for. Hold on.
Okay.
Okay, so now I can share this. See this little thing that I'm sharing here? That's a green kind of up arrow with a share.
Yes, I see it.
Okay, you see that. Okay, good. So now I'm going to stop mine. All right, click on that one. Now, when you click on that one, you need to look at the bottom right of that screen and you see another blue button with the words share on white. Do you see that one?
No.
Okay, so you
just go on without me. I'm
no, Caroline, did you see how I sent everyone else away because I knew that this was going to happen? I'm going to have to do this with you, with Jack, with Sarah. This is part of it. Trust me. Don't feel bad. I know that sometimes people feel pointed to when I start helping you one-on-one, but that's the whole point. I don't want anyone to not feel it. And so I just sent everyone away. And now this is when I am dealing with you. So
I see it. Share.
It?
Yes.
Perfect. Now, when you say share, and now since you're on a Mac, you probably have something that says we need to open system preferences, right?
Well, first click share screen.
First click share. The second.
Okay.
The second share button. Do you see the second button? Okay.
Yeah.
Now, do you see you need to open system preferences?
Yes.
Okay. say okay, or whatever the choice is. Yes, I don't know which one what it asks you to do.
Okay.
And now your system preferences are opening. Now, in that system preferences that is opening, you should see something that says Zoom, kind of in the middle of that page somewhere. It'll say Zoom. You might need to scroll down a little bit. And you have to either click on a little slider or a little checkbox, depending on how old your computer is. It's a checkbox if it's older, it's a slider if it's newer.
I'm looking for Zoom.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. You are. And do you know, is your computer old or new?
It's about 3 years old.
And do you happen to know if you're using let me just show you something, and you should either be seeing this, and you can say, no, that's not all what I'm seeing. Then, because are you seeing something like this right now?
No.
No. Okay. Then you probably have Ventura, which looks something like this. Hold on, because right now the systems have changed so that it looks pretty different. Do you see something similar to this right now? Similar to this? Nope.
No.
Okay. You went into your setting. Did it say open system preferences, or did it say open system settings?
It said preferences.
Okay, good. That gives me a clue. So you should be seeing something similar then to this. Where you should see something similar to this. And I'm not sure if it's in the microphone or in the camera, and you need to do a check mark next to Zoom, but you might have to go look for it because it might be kind of hiding, and Zoom might be at the bottom like that. Does that make sense? Did you find something like that? Similar to this?
No.
Oh, wait, one more thing. You'll be, I'm trying to think what it is that they send you to something. There's one more thing you need to do though, which is down here, it'll say, click this lock to make changes. You need to click on that and put in your computer's password. Do you see where it says that? On the bottom left of the window of that window, it has a little like
click the lock.
Click the lock, yeah.
Okay.
And then you need to put in your computer's password. Unless you have one of those touch the finger thing. Some people have the touch the fingerprint.
Okay, I unlocked it.
Okay. All right. Now you should be able to scroll up or down until you see the word Zoom.
I see Zoom.us.
Okay, so click on the checkbox next to it.
Okay.
And now it should say something like now or later. Click on later.
Okay.
Okay. Awesome. Good. Now let's go back to Zoom and click now on share screen again, and this time it'll work. That's a one-time only thing, by the way. Mac people have to do that one time to give your computer permission, and then after that you're set. So now that you've done it once, you're golden forever. So now go and find that good old green share screen button again.
Hold on.
On Zoom.
Okay.
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 You found it. Okay. Now click on that green share screen button.
Click share now.
Yeah. And then share now. Yay. I'm seeing your screen. Perfect. Now, so now what we needed to do is you need to open your browser again so that we can go back into your pipeline. There it is. Cool. So now click on school. Yeah. Pipeline. Click on the left, the big old P for pipeline. Yep. Good. And now you have it memorized. Perfect. Perfect. Log in. All right.
Okay.
Now go to the 2FA account management, the big old button. Click on that one. And then go to registered phones. Yep. and then add new phone
Okay.
and put in your phone number. Your record. I needed, so just, there's a flip for people who are watching the recording because she was putting in private information. So now I'm recording again. So what's happening is that you're getting to this 415 unsupported media type. If you have another browser and you can try to get to VMView on another browser, try that. Other than that, Jack and Caroline, you need to go get help from SBCC tech support to see why you're not accessing VDI. I'll tell you how to get to do that, but that means that for the rest of today, you kind of have to just watch the class. You know what I mean?
Yes.
If you
Yes,
don't have
that's fine.
Photoshop, if you don't have Photoshop and you don't have this, so I've screenshot this. If you know how to screenshot it, or grab your phone and photograph it too, so that when you go to tech support, you can show them that this is what you're getting when you try to access VDI. Okay. And for Mac people, if you hold down the command, the shift, and the number 3, that's going to give you a screenshot of this page. And then you can, so command, shift, and 3, all 3 things, 1, 2, 3 at the same time. That should give you a little screenshot of this page, but otherwise to grab your phone and take a picture of it. Okay. I'm going to stop your share. And
There,
I'm
that-
gonna show you how to get your own help. Okay, guys, I'm pretty much almost there, but 2 people need to go to tech support. So I'm going to share my screen now. And here, so this is for Jack and Caroline. If you go back to the email that I sent you, the welcome to Photoshop, right? The whole, hey, hi, glad to see you. If you scroll down to the very bottom, I said online class, Zoom, and SBCC tech support, right? So you'll have to go find this email. And then over here, it's like the last thing I write before, please let me know if you have any questions, is if you can use Zoom but need tech support, join the tech support student session. To join, click this link, and they're there Monday through Thursday from 11 to 8 p.m. So after this class, click this link. It'll take you to this Zoom. I'm in class right now, so I can't go there. It'll take you to a Zoom, and tech support people at school will open up and you'll tell them, hey, VDI, I'm getting the message 451, whatever that says. And they should be able to see what's happening with your account, that it's not allowing you to get to VDI. Okay.
Great.
So that's Jack and Caroline. All right, guys.
Thank you.
Okay.
Is that clear? It's in the email that I sent you as the welcome email.
Yeah.
All right. Okay. So, cool. So now for those of you who did make it into VDI, which at this point should be Sarah and Rebecca. Yes, Sarah.
I'm not either. I'm getting that error message, same thing.
Okay, so then you also have to do the same thing. You need to go to tech support. But Rebecca, you did get in, right? You got here.
I got in, but I just got an email that I used the wrong email address for the Adobe Creative Cloud, so I have to reorder it.
Okay. All right. But for VDI, you did get in here.
I'm there, yeah.
Click on student desktop. All right. So that's it. Now this is it, because if you're here, then Sarah, Jack, and Caroline, you need to get tech support to help you. And you got the instructions, Sarah, you got it too, right? Been with them before. Okay, great. All right, so this takes a few minutes, not a few minutes, a few seconds. And now we're all ready to continue with everyone with Photoshop and all the shebang. This is how long it takes when you click on the VDI, the student desktop. It just kind of needs to configure a bunch of stuff. So this is fine. And then finally, boom, you're in a Windows computer. And I'm on a Mac computer, but as you can see, I'm showing a Windows computer screen. And this is the school computer. You need to wait until you see your name down here. So, you know, it might take another 30 seconds or 40 seconds or even a minute. Once you see your name down here and everything is set up, then you'll be ready to go. Okay, so I'm going to leave you there, Rebecca and Deborah.
This question might be for later when you actually start Photoshop. I discovered that I have still got a Photoshop account, the $80 a year one.
Oh, okay.
Or I'm having trouble logging into it because I don't know if I should click personal or business, although I would assume personal.
Personal.
Yeah. Okay. And then
it's personal, but you're using your pipeline email address. So that's the part that's confusing, right? So you have to, if they ask you what's your account, it's your pipeline email address. Yeah.
Okay, it's doing that, but then it asks me about two different types of groups. I'm trying to get back to the page now. I can't find it. Hold on one second. It says, oh, select a profile to sign in. And so I'm on my email, I'm on Adobe. Now it's asking me to either click on FCCC, which is the Foundation for Community Colleges.
Yeah.
Or to do City College.
It's FCCC.
The one that's the Foundation for California Community Colleges.
I'm not, oh, I don't know. I would assume FCCC, you bought it through FCCC. Because if you say City College, they'll think it's a college account and it's not. So try it.
Right. So it's my own person. Okay. That's what I'll try.
And I'm crossing my fingers that that's the right answer. But when you get an email from them, it tells you instructions. It should be telling you, but you say the old one.
I purchased it last year, you know, in February, I mean, and I don't know if
it's
I somehow deleted that information or what. I've had trouble finding
it. FCCC. Rebecca, your hand is a question. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm on the VMware Customer Connect, but I didn't have the pictures of all the little icons that you had. So I guess I'm one behind.
You mean down here or which icons? Oh, I see what you mean. You didn't see, no, because I have a ton of desktops. You should see one that says student desktop at the very top.
No.
Okay, share your screen. So, guys, as I said, the hardest day is the first day, and many of you have to wait a lot, which is kind of like, but VMware Customer Connect. No, that's not where you should be. Go back up, then click over there and back up, because back up in your arrow. And then back up again, because this is not where you should have been. Go back. Yeah, this is nothing of this is what I showed you. So no, keep going back. I don't know how you ended up in all of this. And keep going back. None of this is where you should be. So let me go ahead and give you the link there. So you clicked on that and you got to all there. Click on that right thing again. Click there.
Oh my goodness. I did something crazy.
Okay, put in your two-factor. Go to your phone. All right. After this, anyone else who still has issues, just watch the rest of the class.
Oh, I got the unsupported media.
Yeah, the same one. What is happening?
I think I got it in.
Linda left, and she's the one who's always using VDI, and I'm wondering if something's happening to VDI. I'm getting in fine. All right, so that's really frustrating.
But I'm on Safari, so I'll switch to Chrome.
Just go ahead and see if that might be it. Yeah, since you do have Chrome. So yeah, no, this has nothing to do with it. Close all that. Try and do that there, and let me know how it goes. Because if that's it, then everyone has to do it through Chrome. All right.
I'm actually on.
What's that?
I'm on. I've got in.
Oh, because did you try Chrome this time?
Well, whatever. I got Google Drive. I got the Chrome. I mean,
okay, so you're good, but you were in it before. I know you were in it last class, so this might be for people who are connecting anew. All right, guys, that's it with VDI and tech support. For the Rebecca's going to test doing it on Chrome. If that's it, then I'll tell you that that's the problem. But if that's not it, then as I showed you already how to get to tech support after class, okay? Now we're going to start finally with actual, yay, Photoshop. It does move really well after this. Trust me. This is the groan we have to slog through this portion, and then we're good. Yeah, and people who've done this class before know that the first day is kind of like, you know, eking out the different situations, but after that we're all on Photoshop, we're all doing the same thing, and then everything moves pretty swiftly. Okay, so here we go. Let me share my screen. The last thing I need us to do is have everyone go grab the class files. So let's head over to a browser, and let's go back. If you still have your any of your portal, I've got so many of these different. If you have your pipeline open still, go there. I haven't had mine. I'm just closing extra stuff. So I need to enter again because it's been closed for quite a while. So I'm opening my pipeline.
I don't even know how to do this.
So yeah, just go into your pipeline account again, which hopefully you have open, but those of you who like me have not been using it for a bit, you need to sign in again. And if you had told it to remember, it should not be asking you for this each time. So right now we're just doing the whole SVCC dot, oh, did I not give it the right number? Oh yeah, no, I didn't. 8, 7, 6, 8, 5, 4. Gotta focus. Okay, I'm in. And then pipeline. Okay. All right, so I need everyone to be back on pipeline so that we can access class handouts. Class handouts. So once you're on pipeline again, give me a yes. And Rebecca, whenever you're there, give me a report. Other than that, I know that you're working on it. Rachel,
Okay.
remember it's a yes, not a thumbs up, because the thumbs up disappears. So if you can see the green check mark, that's good. Deborah, is everyone here? Dan, Shelley, Rebecca, everyone's there. Perfect. Okay, good. All right, so here's how we get to the handouts. Go to student and then click on student resources. Student resources. And you'll come to this page. Now, if your window is really small, you might only see this part, so you need to kind of scroll sideways. But if it's bigger, you should see this stuff here that's colorful. We're going to go to Google Drive right there. Okay, so click on Google Drive. And in Google Drive, if you've never used your pipeline drive before, you're all going to land here in this thing called My Drive. And over here, you might either have files if you've used it before, or you might have a whole welcome to Google, because this might be the first time you get to your pipeline Google Drive. So you could have stuff in there, you could not have stuff in there. What you're seeing is your drive, okay? Eugenia's, Shelley's, Deborah's, your drives. I am seeing mine, which is why I have a bunch of stuff. You might have nothing or a lot, but the files that I need you to get are going to be here. So I need you to go to shared drives. Shared drives. All right. Once you get to shared drives, I have a lot of different classes I teach. I have a bunch of them. You should have one, unless you're in more than one of my classes. You should have one, which says Photoshop shared drive. So if you're here and you see Photoshop shared drive, give me a yes. Once you see it, of course, double click and you're into the Photoshop shared drive. So once you're in here, you could also be seeing things like this as little previews, or you could be seeing this, which is like a list of names, of file names. Either way, as long as it says Photoshop shared drive over here, you're in the right place. At that point, give me a yes. Looks like I'm seeing yeses for everyone.
Not me.
And Rebecca, okay, so the only one I'm not seeing a yeses is from, oh no, that's your second computer, so I got yeses for everyone. Rebecca, what's happened? I see that your hand is down. Did it work with Chrome or not?
Well, I can't seem to, Chrome doesn't know all my passwords and names, and I'm trying to find them.
Okay, that's fine.
They don't recognize my password. My account is 1 strike. It'll be locked when you reach 5 strikes.
Well, try to type it in really carefully again, and if after 3 times, then just stop and wait until you get to tech support. They can help you with your password. All right. So here we go. We are here. Just about everyone, unless you're having password issues, you are here. And the good news is, some of you are seeing a window like this here, which this big old X, this just takes up space and you don't need it. So if you see this, if this is the first time you've found it, just click on that X to get rid of that so you have a bigger access to your stuff. This is my folder that I am sharing with you. Here you have things like files, syllabus, videos, there's a lot of stuff in here, including stuff that we already did, how to get to VDI and videos of how to access VDI for those of you who need to access VDI when you're not with me and stuff like that. Now, here's that whole college buys thing. But the most important thing that I want to show you are these 2 first things. So again, if you're seeing things in this icon mode, then it's the folders and the files. It's possible though that your default message is set up as lists this way, then that's the folder I'm talking about, and this is the file I'm talking about, the Zoom class recording link. So these are the 2 that I need you to focus on right now. Either they look like this, or this little waffle icon switches to look like this, but it's the same stuff. This is the file downloads. Okay, so who needs to download this folder is anyone who has already Photoshop or anyone who just purchased it. Okay, meaning people who will be using your own Photoshop, even if it's not until next week. Okay, so the only people who don't need to download this folder is people who will be constantly using VDI, which I think you said Eugenia, and I know Linda. There's a couple of people who use VDI all the time, so you don't need to download it. So how do we download this? You can right click, or you can click on these 3 dots and then go to the word download. That's one way to download it. If you are just right clicking on this whole name, you'll get to the same thing. If you're looking at it in this mode, then once again, right click and download, or you go all the way here to the 3 little dots and you download that way. So, or you go this little link right there with the button. There's all ways to download that folder. That's a folder. You don't want to open it yet. If you do open it, you get to a bunch of files and you can't download them from there. So you need to be backed out. You need to be in this mode where you can see file download and the whole folder is what you're downloading. See, here it is. My whole folder is downloading right now, and it's a bunch of files, and it's going to be all waiting for you in your downloads folder. Okay, I'm going to show you now how to access them with Bridge right now. Just wait until it's downloaded. Okay, so Sarah, where are you? Well, you said you couldn't get in. You said you couldn't get in because your pipeline. Did you get in?
Well, I did get in, and then I'm now on student resources.
Okay, so I'll back up. If you're on student resources,
yeah,
then over here on the right, you have Google Drive. And if you don't see it, you need to scroll a bit to the right to find it.
Oh, yeah. Okay, Google Drive.
Google Drive. Once you get to Google Drive, you'll be in My Drive. See that? You need to go 1 down to Shared Drives.
Okay.
Click on Shared Drives. And now in Shared Drives, look for, you should have 1 only. Well, you were in some summer classes. You might have another one from the summer. Double click on Photoshop Shared Drive. And this is where you should be. Again, it either looks like this or it looks like that. And again, there's so many options always, people get confused, but I'm showing you the 2 possible ways you could be seeing this. And thus, that's what you need to download. The fall 2023, if you hover over it, the whole name period, download Photoshop class files. Right click to download or click on these 3 little dots and hit download. Everyone should by now have downloaded them. For some of you, it'll take a bit longer, a bit less longer. Did anyone who will not use VDI not get to the downloads? Does anyone need help getting here? How are we doing? Caroline, you're going to be buying it, so you need it. Rebecca, everyone who's going to be buying is going to need it. Okay, Rachel, I'm not hearing from you.
I downloaded it to the desktop and then I'm waiting for the next step.
Okay, good. So you have it on. Okay. If you're by default, these things download to your downloads folder, not to the desktop. And I'm just saying, because if you're on a Mac, you should not have big files on your desktop. You should drag them either to your documents or to your downloads. I teach all of this file management classes that you're welcome to take if you need help with that. But desktop is not a good place for your big files. You have some big files here. We have some raw files. There's a bunch of photos. It's smaller than usual. I'm trying not to have you have too many things, but anyway. All right. Looks like everyone said yes. So I'm going to clear your answers because
it didn't download for me.
Well, did you right click and say download?
Yeah. Well, I mean, I clicked on the fall download folder.
And it happens in the background. You don't see it much.
And then, I've done that a couple times and I never even saw whether it was downloading or
Well,
not.
let's go see, because now we're going to go see if you have them, because it should be in your downloads folder.
Oh, I see. It says get Drive for desktop, download that.
Oh, okay. So that's true. For some of you guys, you might have a question. Yes. No, don't get Drive for desktop, but some of you might have a question from Google saying, do you want to permit download a whole folder or something like that? You need to say yes, allow. Okay. I forget, because since once you say allow once, it doesn't come up again. But when you download a folder with so many files, Google, Safari's like, or Google, yeah, is this right? You really are doing this. So you need to say yes. So did anyone get that one? If you're stopped there, you need to say yes, otherwise it won't download.
I don't know where to find it.
Well, you might already have them. Let's go check before I tell you anything else to see if you have them by opening your Finder window, right? Or if you're on a PC, your File Explorer window. So I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna.
And it says downloads. Is that the folder?
Right there. Do you want to? How many of you are on a PC? How many of you are on a Mac? So if you're on a Mac, give me a green yes. If you're on a PC, give me a red no.
Yes.
Yes, green for Mac, red no for PC. And okay, and those of you who are on VDI, you'll have to say you're on a PC, because on VDI you'll be in a PC computer, just for future knowledge. Okay, so half and half. All right. Well, more Mac than PC. All right. So on a Mac, things download by default unless you change it to download into your downloads. PC should be the same, but a lot of people do shift that to your desktop. So it could be that you have them on your desktop. So what we're going to do is we're going to go open Bridge, because that's the first app you're going to learn to use. And with Bridge, we're going to go and see if your files have downloaded. Okay. So, do you know, if you do know how to open Bridge, go ahead and open Bridge, and then just wait until I catch up to you. If you don't know how to open Bridge, because you're never opened it before, you just downloaded them, or you're on VDI, then on a Mac, you're going to go, and I'm going to share my entire window for the Mac. You're going to go to this, and I should be sharing on my other computer, but I'm on this one, which is a bit more confusing. You can go up here to this top, like magnifying glass over here, which is your search, and it's popping up here in the middle, and it's hard to see, but the little search here, you're going to just write bridge like that. And if you have it, then you can either hit return or double click on this word, and Bridge will open. Now, that's best case scenario. If you are on a PC, then you will have to go down here and use this little type here to search, and you will write Photoshop Bridge right there. And Adobe Bridge should come up and you should double click on it. By the way, we're all still on Adobe Bridge 2023, but if you have automatic downloads, then you might already be, as of yesterday, on 2024. Unless you're on the beta version anyway, because yesterday, or the day before yesterday, I think yesterday, timing, I just came back from a trip and I'm very jet lagged. I just got back from Argentina. Some of you, no, none of you are in my Mac class, right? So 2 days ago, I was on a different time zone and my brain is still all scrambled. But one of these days, yesterday, the day before yesterday, Adobe updated to the new version.
It was yesterday.
It was yesterday. Okay, thanks, Ed. Yeah, you even emailed me about it. So there's a huge difference between Adobe Bridge 2023 and 2024 in capabilities when it comes to artificial intelligence, generative applications. It's a feature that we'll talk about in a minute. But everything we're going to learn in this class, 90% of it doesn't need that. Yes, I'm going to begin to broach it because, now it's there. But first of all, VDI doesn't have it, and I don't know when they'll update it. And it uses a lot more computer resources, and I don't even know if VDI is set up to be able to use that. And if you're buying, one thing I forgot to say before you all bought this is that the new version of Photoshop takes up a lot of computer resources. So if you guys don't have a computer that's pretty, newish or boosted, it'll be hard to get Photoshop to work well if you download the 2024, the newest one. So you have the option of downloading the 2023 if you get to the place where you're seeing that 2024 isn't like, if your computer is groaning a lot with it, because it does come in packed with a lot more features that use ridiculous amounts of computer resources. So anyway, for now, so this is what you're going to open up if you're on the PC, and it's opening up. And if you're on a Mac, so you'll kind of end up, I think this is where you default. I think you default into this. So this is my Mac version. And now my PC version is opening up. Yep, it's still opening up. So I'll let it open up. Okay. All right. So this is PC, and it's not responding for some strange reason. So I'll let it think. This is Bridge. Now, let me explain what Bridge is, and let me change my screen because I'm going to not share my entire thing. It's too much. And now I'm just on Bridge. Okay, here it is. All right. Let me see if, yeah, they both got resolved. Okay, so this is Bridge on a PC, and this is Bridge on a Mac. Okay. Looks a little bit different in how the icons look, but other than that, on the left side, you should see something called favorites. You should see something that says computer. On the PC, you'll see that as well. It'll say favorites over here. It'll say desktop instead of computer. It'll say this PC instead of the word computer, but it's pretty much the same thing. Inside of Photoshop, things are 99.9% identical, like 99.999% identical. It's really similar. Bridge, though, is using the computer icons that are Mac or PC, so visually it looks a bit different, but it's the exact same function. Let me explain what Bridge is. Imagine your File Explorer for the PC or the Finder for the Mac, if you know what those things are. It's a Finder or an Explorer on steroids. So it allows you to look into your computer and find the files wherever they are. So anyone who's accustomed to Lightroom or something like that, where you have to put files in a certain place or something like that, no, this is nothing like that. This is a Finder or an Explorer where you say, let me look and see the files that are in my downloads, or let me look and see what files I have in my desktop, or, and you go find the files you want to use. We have all of our files downloaded onto our downloads folder. So other than Rebecca, you have to hang for a second because your files on VDI are in a different place. For everyone else, what you need to do is you need to go to the word computer if you're on a Mac, or to the word PC if you're on a PC. actually, if you're on a Mac, go to your name, not to the computer. Go to to your Diana Musacchio, or in your case, whatever your name is if you're on a PC, on a Mac. And then here you will see a folder called Downloads. It's probably grayed out. And if you try to open it, it'll ask you, do you have permission to open it for Bridge to access? And you'll have to say yes. Okay. Mine already says yes, so it's available to me. But you need to say to it, every time you try to open a folder on a Mac, you're going to get a lot of security permissions. Are you sure that you want to give Bridge access to your downloads? And you'll have to say yes. If you think you put it in some other place, you'll open documents. Are you sure you want to give, Bridge access to your documents, and so on and so forth, and keep saying yes, because that's what we need to do. PC doesn't care that much about your privacy, so it won't ask you those questions. It'll just give you access. So if this is the PC and you have a PC, then just go ahead and find your downloads and double click and open your downloads and find them there. Now, Rebecca, once again, hold on. VDI has them in a different place. But I see Deborah's had her hand up for a second. Everyone, let me clear your answers for a second. And if you found the way to get to your downloads, either PC or Mac, then 1 second, then I'll get your question. When I open my downloads, then you have, if you have a whole bunch of stuff like I do, then what you can do is you can search right here. You can do a search in your downloads already, right? You can do a search, and for example, this was called 2023, I believe it started. I think the file started with 2023, so then I hit the return, and anything that says 2023 will be here. In which case, hopefully you'll have only the one. Now, I might have forgotten that you might need to unzip things, but anyway, let me see, because if this is it, hold on. It could be that it has his whole name, Drive Download, because Google tries to put it in a folder with a long name like that, and you double click on it. No, that's not it. Right, Photoshop, like many of you know, I have so many Photoshop folders here from all the times that I show how to demo it, and here it's showing it to me. So that's my spring one. Actually, there it is, fall 2023 download. It's still zipped. Okay, if I double click on that, it will expand. Okay, and then it'll give me access to those files. I'm gonna back up again and go back to Photoshop. I should have had them expanded first. When I double click on it, you should be seeing these files. That's the end process on a Mac. If I lost you, I'll come back. On a PC, it's very similar. The only one who has a different system here is Rebecca, because she's the only one right now who's VDI. The other people who should be on VDI can't access it. So I'm just going to talk to Rebecca for a second. Okay. Rebecca.
Yes.
You need to connect to your Google Drive. Okay. So remember that you had a window. So are you looking at a picture like this right now?
Sort of.
So here on the desktop, you should see this little icon for Google Drive that when you click on it, you should come up to this window.
I did that.
Okay. Sign in with browser. Did you do that?
Yes.
And you need to sign in to your pipeline.
I did that.
musacchio@pipeline.sbcc.edu. Okay. And then say next.
Well, I'm in the bridge.
Yeah, but I can't show you that until I do it, because I didn't know you'd done it, so I'm doing it myself. Okay, so once it's signed in, then I'm good. Okay, so now here on this PC, once you're signed in, then you should see over here Google Drive. So go to this PC and click on Google Drive right there, the third choice in. This is just for VDI, okay, you guys? So on this PC, you see the choice for Google Drive? Tell me where you're, Rebecca.
I see a DVD drive.
You don't see Google Drive?
No.
Refresh it, move to desktop and come back to this PC because maybe it didn't pick it up yet. Like click on something else. It doesn't matter, and then go back to this PC and see if it pops in. If not, maybe you didn't sign into Google Drive yet.
Okay.
If you don't
I'm-
see that, then you need to share your screen so I can help you with that.
Okay,
Now-
okay, I'll do the share the screen.
Okay, so here's the deal now. Everyone who got to the files and sees
Somebody else
photos-
is still sharing.
well, because you started sharing before I stopped mine, so try it again. I
Okay.
have to stop mine first. Everyone who got to the photos, give me a yes. Ed has a yes. If you are totally lost and you have no idea, which is probably quite a few of you guys, give me a no. And I'll help you one by one. So Rebecca, share your screen, and I'll help you share your screen too. Once you do the share screen, you have to then do another share. There's a second button. Yep, there we go. All right. Okay, so go into your, oh, you're not in your VDI. What happened? Click on.
Well, I refreshed.
Yeah, you didn't refresh the right thing. That's okay. Go click on
Oh.
student desktop again. That's okay. You had to refresh Bridge. Never mind. Go ahead and click on student desktop and get back in. You left VDI. Now, this is the thing about VDI. Go ahead and make it a little bit bigger, but yeah, we really don't want it to be full screen. But that's okay.
Okay.
What's up with VDI is that when you're in, go ahead and hit escape to get out of that full screen mode because you don't really want.
That doesn't seem to work for me.
Okay.
I got lost quite a while trying to get rid of the screen. Escape's not doing it.
Because now I can't see your, okay, it's all right. So now, let's do this. Go down to the very, very bottom right of your screen. Bottom right. Keep going all the way down into the blue area. Yeah, there. And now go a little bit to the left until you see that teeny little arrow. Oh, not so much. Back a bit more. Yeah, that arrow. Click on that. Yep. And then on the right side, there's that little Google icon, and the one to the right. Yep. Down, one down, down. Oh, one down, that one. Click on the Google Drive icon. Perfect. Good. Sign in. You weren't signed in. So sign in with browser. Okay. Now that one. Yep. Click on that one. And now scroll down and say sign in, or not scroll down. You see it there. And now say not now.
Okay.
Good. Now you can.
Not now.
And say not now. Yeah. Okay. Say okay to that. Okay, good. Now go down on the bar to the BR for bridge, to the right. Right. No. Keep going to the right. You have bridge open already. So keep going to the right. That one. Click on bridge. Okay. Now it's so tiny. You might need to open this because you do it by your hand. Go to the corner of the bridge and stretch it out so it fills your screen. Yeah. Go back to bridge using the taskbar. Yeah, use the taskbar always because when you're on VDI, put your hand right on the corner. Yeah, and then just stretch it. Yeah. The tip of your mouse is the only thing that matters. So that's the tip of your mouse isn't on it yet. There. When the tip of your mouse touches, go to the right first and then down. There we go. And stretch it all the way to the bottom. All right. Now, this is the important part. VDI is tricky. Every time you go to that arrow and go backwards like you did before, please don't do it. But look up and point to what you did. Don't click, but go up to where you see the arrow that goes back. I want to show you what not to do. Point out like when you say, okay, this is inside of bridge. That's good. But if you go one up to the other arrow, that leaves don't click on it. But that is, yeah, where you were, but don't click on it. That is your browser, and that takes you out of VDI, like what you saw. So you need to understand that your VDI computer starts right where it says Adobe Bridge. So do not go to anything that's above that, or you leave VDI. Okay, so now you need to refresh this browser, the bridge to find your stuff. So go and click on desktop for a second. See where it says favorites? Click on desktop, go down, down, down. Okay, and now go to this PC, which is one up. And you should see the Google Drive. There it is, double click on it. And now go to shared drives, which is where I put the stuff. And then open Photoshop shared drive, double click. And then you'll see in a second, another folder at the top. Wait, no, you're fine.
It's not making it any bigger.
Sure, yeah, you can make it as big as you want, but wait until, okay. And then another folder will pop up at the top left. Double click on that top left folder. And there you go. That's it. You're in the files. And so it'll take a few seconds for there to come in and you are ready to go. That what I just showed her is what everyone has to do. She just had an extra, I'm going to stop your share. She had an extra complication because she's in VDI. But other than that, that's how you find your files. So I'm seeing lots of yeses now. Deborah.
I never made it to the bridge and I'm on a Mac. I can go back and look at the video.
Yeah, because you couldn't get into VDI, right?
No, I'm not doing VDI. I actually found that I still have.
But you needed the FCCC, yeah.
Right. So I haven't had a chance yet to actually get into my my account, my Creative Cloud account. I'm going to do that, but I didn't want to miss anything. So if I get in there, I should be able to get to Bridge.
Yes. Once you open Bridge, it's an app that's part of the Creative Cloud account. You might not have it downloaded. You might have only Photoshop downloaded. You might need to download them yet. I don't know how much you used your account before. And you haven't used it since February. You probably have to update it, right? And then after that, you'll be able to open it. All right. So it looks like everyone says yes. Does anyone need help getting to the files other than the people who are on VDI that count, like Caroline, Haber, Jack, who need to go to tech support? If you are here, then that's good. I'm seeing yeses everywhere. Am I missing anyone? Does anyone not have the files? No. Okay. So, by the way, it's not as simple as this. The video Bridge isn't just a Finder on steroids. It's actually more than that. So what it really does is hold on 1 second, because I was having her do it and I didn't open it open the files myself. Okay, there we go. I was doing it on VDI myself and I needed to do it. Okay, good. Let me share my screen. Right. So I keep having this one open, which by the way, it was just when I was showing you Photoshop with here we go, Bridge. So Bridge is a program that's a companion, not just to Photoshop, but to most of the other Creative Cloud applications. The only one that doesn't use it, I believe, is Lightroom. Although I think someone said that they used Lightroom and Bridge together, but anyway, it's not normally what you would do. But every other graphic application uses Bridge. What it does, since it belongs to Adobe, it has tools in here that allow you to do things without even opening any of the other programs. You can process, you can batch process and exchange file formats. There's just so much stuff. You can catalog, you can do lots of metadata to organize your things, keyword things. Anyway, so there's a whole bunch of stuff. It's like an organizer and all of that. But on top of that, it has certain tools, like it has Adobe Camera Raw, which if you have any idea what it is, then that's fine. And if you don't, we'll learn it, okay? But it's a feature that allows you to process raw files. We'll get there. If you don't know what I'm talking about, we'll get there, don't worry. But if you do know, then you don't need to do that either through Lightroom or through Photoshop. You can do it here in Bridge. That's just like touching the surface of what we can do in here. As I always teach in here, the majority of you guys, we're just going to use it as a way to see our files. First of all, to see all the metadata of a file. If you are just using a Finder or an Explorer, you just see the file and a little bit of information. But here in Bridge, we can see a bunch of information about any file that we click on. So if I just do a single click on any of these, then here on the right side, and it depends on how you have it set it up. Maybe at the beginning you have these closed. I don't know the default when you first open it because mine is already open. but you should be seeing all these file properties, and you should be seeing, maybe your default is this word publish. Go in here and click on preview so that you can see a bigger preview of this image. And all of this metadata is going to be really important to us. If you're trying to work on photos and modify them and use them in a way that's, that you can really get, you can make the most you can out of a photo. You also need to know from the beginning what quality it is, what information it's on, what, color, mode, file format, everything, file size, everything. And this is where you find all that information before you even bother working with this file. Maybe you want to put this file in a big poster, and if you don't know all the metadata, you wouldn't know that, no, this file will never make it to a big poster. Why? Because the file isn't big enough and such and so forth. So there's all that. Anyway, stuff like that. You can also duplicate the size of a file by going through Camera Raw inside of Bridge to triplicate a file to make it be something that you can use for a bigger. So it's got many, many things. Right now, we're going to use it basically as a select the file, read the metadata on it. If I want to see this one much bigger, and I'm going to temporarily share my entire screen with you, because when you have Bridge, if you want to see something really big, all you need to do is hit your select it, right? Select a photo and hit the space bar, and it will fill the screen, and you'll go, oh, okay, that's the photo I want or don't want. And you hit the space bar again, and then it goes down. Or you go over to this one and you hit the space bar, or you hit the space bar again and it goes down. On top of that, if you actually want to keep exploring in the big size, you hit the space bar, and then you can use your arrows and you can start going left, 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 down, 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 and you keep exploring other photos that you have. Now, since all the photos we have here are different, it doesn't seem to really matter too much to do that, because clearly this is the dog and this is the person. But many times you have 10 photos of the same moment, 10 photos of the same group, 10 photos of the same mountain. And you want to see which one is the one that's the best one where everyone's smiling, or the best one where the sun is hitting the right reflection or whatever. So that's really useful if you have 10 of the same thing, or 20 or 40. You open one and then you just kind of scroll quickly through them and you can see the minor differences. And if you say, okay, this is the one, this is it, this is the good one, when you hit the space bar and you're down again, then the selected one is the one that you decided is the good one. Does that make sense? It helps you review your photos before you even open any of them inside of any other program. So it's really good way of choosing. And then you can give it the good one 5 stars, the other one 3 stars, or whatever. That's the very basic amount of just the stars is a very basic kind of cataloging that you can do. And you leave 5 stars for the one or the top best and whatever. So say that I think this is one of the best of them all, and I can click over here and give it stars and stuff like that. But we're not going to go into the whole cataloging thing right now. So that's the minimum we can do. We can also change the file name. We just go into the name and modify the file name. What's that? I'm going to reshare to have just the small one version again. Now, if anyone has something that looks extremely different than what I'm showing you, this is a good time to tell me that, because it could be that what you're seeing, there's so many versions of how to see this. It could be that you're seeing things in a very different mode. You might be looking at something like this and you're not seeing at all what I'm showing you. There's all these different views, right, that won't really show you the same thing I'm showing you. So we're in this essentials mode, which by default, if you've never used it, it should be defaulting to this essentials mode. And in order to see the metadata, you have to have selected something, and then the metadata starts showing up. All right. So is anyone, I'm going to clear your answers. Is anyone not seeing kind of what I'm seeing? I know people who haven't gotten to them because your VDI isn't working. You're not seeing them, but everyone else, is everyone good? All right. Cool. So, the other good news about Bridge is that since it's part of Adobe, it knows, like if you go and look at a file here, it tells you this is a JPEG, bluemancolor.jpg, peachhotel.jpg, dust and scratches filter.psd, mic.cr2, magnum whatever.png. So all of these endings or extensions mean something. And depending on what they mean, they need to be opened in a different application or in a different way. But Bridge knows that. And so if I double click on a JPEG right here, Adobe knows that I handle JPEGs in Photoshop. Of all the Adobe programs, the place to modify a JPEG is in Photoshop. So if I want to, I just double click on the photo and it opens in Photoshop, versus if you're doing it from the Finder window or Explorer, you double click on a JPEG and it can open in 250 other types of programs, right? So this is an Adobe program and it'll open the Adobe programs related to these kinds of files. So let's go ahead and, which is the one that I wanted to start with here. Let's head down to this umbrella color, the very, very last one, which is a JPEG file. And before I do anything or open it, I'm going to go ahead here and I'm going to look at some of that metadata. And as we become more comfy with metadata, I'll be explaining resolution, file size, all that kind of stuff. You'll understand more what these numbers will make more sense to you. But basically right now, and what it's giving me like a little summary of this file, and it's telling me some numbers here, and this is pixels. Pixels is how you measure the size of a photo, like the cells in a human being. Pixels are the elements that form an image, and it's telling me that the size of this photo is described in pixels, 5,616 pixels wide by 3,744 pixels tall. So that's kind of how you measure an image. That's a pixel-based image, which all photos are. It tells me what color mode it is, what resolution it has, what it just, profile, a bunch of stuff like that. And if I go down here, it also tells me when it was photographed, what date it was created, even what camera it was taken on and stuff like that. So there's lots of information. Now, sometimes the information isn't there. Like if you go to this information and there's nothing, then many times people strip that information from files to put them on the internet. So this is something downloaded from a sample file placed from the internet. So a lot of that information is missing, like what camera took this photo or stuff like that. Other files do have that information, and I think this one had camera. No, which one? This one here has camera information. And so here it tells you what date it was taken, what camera it was taken on, where it was made, et cetera, et cetera. So there's a lot more information that's there. And the second little box here is turning on. It tells me what f-stop, what speed, what, color balance, what ISO, everything that I would want to know, including what lens I used, focal length, all of that. So that's all called metadata. So a photo, when you capture it, what we see is the photo, the image, but the camera captures a lot of other information, the GPS, all the stuff that the camera can capture, whatever camera it is that we're using, that comes along with the file, and it's the metadata. So on Bridge, you can read all this metadata and thus act upon it depending on your needs. Okay. All right. So let's head over to this umbrella. It's a JPEG. We're going to want to open it in Photoshop, but we haven't opened Photoshop yet, but that's okay, because just double clicking it here, it's going to kick Photoshop into opening itself, because we're in Adobe and it goes, oh, let's open Photoshop to process a JPEG. So I'm going to do that right now. Now, don't do it from here. This is not a place to double click on. It seems bigger, so people get tempted. But this is just a preview, and it allows you to see if things are in focus. And that's all really this. It gives you a bigger preview, but if you click on it, it gives you a little 100%. And we'll talk a little bit about what that means. That's all that is. So for now, to open it, you need to double click right here on this little kind of contact sheet mode. Double click, and I'm going to do that right now. And once I do that, this process is going to it's opening up Photoshop, and I'm going to be patient with it. This is my VDI. I'm going to go do it in Bridge, and it's much faster in my Mac. I'm going to double click on it right here, and boom, it's opening up, and it just opened in Photoshop. Okay, so this is Photoshop just opened up in my Mac, and it's opened up my umbrella photo. My VDI is still working on kicking open my Photoshop. So everyone's Photoshop, if it wasn't open yet, should be opening up. And Yeah, sorry, Deborah said, for those of you who stayed trying to deal with VDI, I forgot to give you guys a break. We kept going. Everyone else who left took a break, and then I just kept walking through it. So I apologize, but yeah, usually the whole VDI thing and two-factor authentication takes so much time that I kind of barreled through. So if you need to run off to take a break, please do so at any minute. I'm just gonna continue because my goal always the first day is to try to make it into Photoshop and all of that. Now, this is VDI. And VDI is telling me that my graphics processor is incompatible. I've been warning of them about this for quite a while. They definitely need to do something about it. But meanwhile, if you're on VDI and you get this message, just say okay, and that's okay. All right. I'm actually going to do a new screenshot because each time it tells me how many out of date the months are, and I send it to tech support, and I'm going to say okay. But if this is happening to you on your own computer, that you get a message like that, then it might be that you're using a computer that's too old. That's my concern. If you move up to 2024, for computers that are older, it needs good graphic cards. It needs a lot of RAM. It needs a lot of power, good chips and stuff like that. So consider if you're moving up to 2024, whether your computer is able to handle it. Now, I did install 2024 in my laptop, which I haven't shared with yet, which is new. This computer that I'm working with right now, that I've been sharing you and teaching from, is a Mac. It's an iMac 27-inch 2015, and it's still handling it just fine. I have a lot of RAM on it. Do I have 32 or 64? Let me check. I don't remember anymore. I think I have 32 gigabytes of RAM on it. So even though it's a 2015, it's able to handle Photoshop just fine. I don't know how it's going to do with 2024. So I'm going to wait and see before I upgrade on this one. But if anyone has 2024 and they need me to demo something on version 2024, the one that came out yesterday, if you have your computer's Creative Cloud set on automatic update, it's just going to automatically tell you that it's ready to go and update it. So be careful. I turn that feature off in the Creative Cloud, and I update it when I'm ready to update it, because otherwise you might not be ready to have to learn a whole host of new things. So if anyone has a question on how to do that in the Creative Cloud part, we can talk later. Many of you still have to buy it. So once you all have the Creative Cloud set up, I can show you how to handle the apps updating and all that kind of stuff. All right. So if everyone has Photoshop set up and this file opened up, good. You don't need to say yes or no. Is anyone not here? Do you need help getting here? Other than the people who are just watching because VDI isn't working and they don't have the apps. Is everyone here? Life is good. All right. Let me see if my VDI pulled it up too. And yeah, I have it on both. So this is, whenever I show VDI is because this is what a PC looks like, which, as you can see, once I'm in the program, it's very similar to what it looks on a Mac. The biggest difference is that when I'm in VDI, you see all of this stuff up there, but that's not part of Bridge. That's part of my browser that's showing me VDI. So ignore this whitish part, so to say, because Bridge really, or Photoshop, they all start here from the darker area, okay? But that's the only way I can show you a PC because I don't have a PC computer. All right. Cool. So welcome to Photoshop. Now, let me hesitate and ask you all to tell me by a show of hands who feels like they're really good at Photoshop. You're comfortable with it. You know quite a bit. You know your way around. You just kind of always want to find out the newest bells and whistles. If so, give me a raised hand. The ones who are like, yeah, I could kind of teach on the side. That's raised hand. People who have used Photoshop before, but you have a lot to learn, give me a yes. And people who have never used Photoshop, give me a no. Okay, so Photoshop is completely new to you, give me a no. If you have used it and you just, want to keep getting better, that's a yes. If you're really good, then that's a raised hand. Jack, you're somewhere in between because I know you used it a while ago. Yeah, somewhere in between. Okay. Let me look at everything and everyone. All right. Before I continue, I'm going to put something in the chat. which I want you to open right now, but you don't need to fill it out right now. So there's a link I just put in the chat. That takes you to a survey. So please click on that link and it'll open up on a survey. When I'm talking to someone about stuff that they're stuck and you're not stuck, start filling out the survey. If you're not stuck anymore and I keep going, then after class, fill out the survey. But at some point, please fill out this survey. This survey is also on the handouts. So really quickly, I'm heading back to the handouts. And I forgot to show you something. You can also stay in Photoshop if you want, or you can head back to the browser with the handouts. And remember, I told you that this is what we downloaded, which was the handouts. But I told you the first file was an important file too. I'm going to open it up. And in this file, you have a lot of information here. There's lots of good links. And one of the things that is not filled yet is this, because I am recording all of these classes. And by tomorrow morning, you will have a link here that will take you to the recording of today's class. So people who are just watching right now because VDI wasn't working and whatnot, you'll know that as of tomorrow, you can click on here and you'll see the recording of the whole class. For better or for worse, I want to let you know that I record the entire class and I have to put it in YouTube, put it up. It's a private link. The only one who can access is people who have this link, et cetera, but it takes a while. Once it's up there, it's the entire 9 a.m. to 12:45 class, right? So it's a bunch of hours. So I recommend if you find me saying something really important and interesting that you want to review, take note. Like at 11:49, she said something really important, right? Take a little piece of paper. So then you know that 11:50, and if the class started at 9, so then you know that that's like, 2 hours and 50 minutes into the class. So then you just go into your video and scroll up 2 hours and 15. Does that make sense? Right now, let me give you quickly. I'm going to open any one of my many videos. Say that this is whatever. This is me in the summer in Argentina. Let me get one of the photos. Never mind. So say that I open this guy here. You're going to open it this way. This is what you're going to get to. You're going to get to YouTube and you're going to see this, right? And what you're going to see, and this one actually right now, it'll be in full resolution. So as you can see, this is a 3 hours and 22 minutes class. And you can put your mouse here on this timeline and scroll through and say, there it is. What I wanted was at 2 hours and 20 minutes, right? So you click there and then it goes straight in there and it takes you to the 2 hours and 20 minutes point of that video. But I don't sit here and, tell you when each thing I talk about is happening. So if you missed a class, then you are expected to, because the recordings are there, if you missed a class or you're late or you leave early, you have to watch the half hour you missed from the beginning, from the end, or for whatever part you had to leave. That way, next class, you're all caught up. Does that make sense? Of course, you can ask questions about something you didn't understand, but at least you need to watch it so that you're not completely clueless. And, before, if you missed a class in person, you came the next day, there was no way, you just missed it. But now that the recordings are there, you need to be able to do them. That said, over here at class survey, you have the link to the same class survey I just gave you. You could click on that and go to the class survey, which looks something like this, which is, I need to know things like, kind of like what I've been asking you, but a few more things. If you have specific projects that you're trying to do, I really want to know. It really helps me if you're putting a book together, or if you just want to learn how to manipulate photos, or if you're trying to do all the marketing for your business, or whatever you're up to, because then I can kind of target my answers and point towards, oh, you who are working on this, you can do this, you who are working on that. So please tell me things like that. And one other thing that I haven't showed you yet is the class Padlet. So I'm going to put another link here, and you have the link here too for during the week. You also have another how to use VDI, how to set up two-factor authentication. So these are links to videos of me showing you how to do things, okay? How to access the class handouts, et cetera, et cetera. It's a little bit of a misnomer because, of course, the video of how to access class handouts is in the handouts, right? So I'm going to collect these videos and email these links and email them to you after class today, so that you know how to access the class handouts in case you forgot. And so you'll have the videos in an email. Once you know how to access the class handouts, then you have all the links in here. Does that make sense? So that you can all figure out how to get to the class recordings and stuff like that. So that's an email I will send you after class today. Yes, Dan, I see your hand is up.
Yeah, I had a question. So when do we see a timer as far as on the recording on Zoom? So when we know like what kind of time frame to write down, or?
Yeah, no, on Zoom, what you need to do now is look at the time. And right now it is 11:53. And say that 11:53
Okay.
is talking about a technique that's interesting. Just write down. For example, she just talked about camera raw, and write down 11:53 a.m., right? So then you have to calculate that if a class started at 9 a.m., 11:53 is pretty much 3 hours into it, right? And so then you go over here and do 3 hours into it. You know what I mean?
Okay.
And then
Sure.
you move over here. So yeah, it's, or you have to, if you didn't write it down, you have to remember, she talked about this towards the end, and then you have to kind of search back and forth. You know, that's that, you know, oh, she said this at the beginning, the first hour of class. So then you kind of search in this area for that thing that I said. That's as good as it gets. Now, the Zoom, I
Okay.
try to, there's no way to have right now an ongoing timer. I wish, but I've tried it before, and I've turned on the features for the ongoing timer, but it doesn't record itself. So yeah, it doesn't work.
Okay.
Good question. That would have been good, but no, not there. So you're going to get an email with this. The other thing too is that when you try to access some things, it might tell you that you can't access them unless you are signed into your pipeline. So sometimes I get a message that people are trying to get into the assignments and they're getting it from their personal Gmail. You can't. You need to be in your pipeline account, because this is a pipeline folder and a pipeline files. Okay. So if it says you don't have access to this, you're probably trying to access it from your, marysmith@gmail.com. You need to sign into pipeline, and then you can access anything you want. All right. That's just a reminder. All right. So we got all the way to open up a file from Bridge into Photoshop, and then I hesitated because there's one last thing that I need to teach you before we can go full on into Photoshop, which is Padlet. Let me explain. Let me head back into VMware. Padlet, I mean, these classes are free to you guys, but they are part of a certificate program. So I have to grade you. At the end of this class, you will get a pass or a no pass. It's a grading that's a pass or no pass. If you pass the 3 or 4 different classes that are part of the certificate, Santa Barbara City College uses a certificate. Now, some of you are like, well, I don't care about the certificate. And some of you are like, oh, that's awesome. That'll help me at work. And it's a digital badge. You get a little paper, but you also get a digital badge that you can attach to your resumes to get a raise, to, professional development hours, whatever. But I need to grade you if you care or you don't care. So the only way I can grade you is as I see your work. Online, I can't have every single person share their screen all the time for me to see your work. So the way you show me your work is by taking screenshots of your work and posting it in this thing called Padlet. So first, I'm going to have everyone do a screenshot right now of this umbrella opened up in your Photoshop program. So like, we're just testing how to use Padlet and to make sure that you got it. So those of you who are on VDI who did not make it yet into VDI and you don't have that, then you can do a screenshot of any part of your desktop. I don't care. I'm going to teach you how to use Padlet right now. But it also shows me that if you don't have this photo, it tells me who is it that still hasn't been able to access VDI and stuff like that. Does that make sense? So this is your first assignment, so to say, is post something on Padlet. And then as the days go by, every time we complete a project or in the middle of something, or we're showing a special technique, we'll do a quick screenshot and post it on Padlet. So the way the screenshot works on a on a Mac or on a PC is different. So let me start with a Mac. If you're on a Mac, how do you do a screenshot? Well, and usually I'm going to say that you have certain menus open or certain layers open or certain Macs happening. I'm going to ask you to do that kind of screenshot of all those masks, but it's a shortcut. So for Mac people, listen up, put one finger on your command key, the thumb usually, the pinky can go on the shift key. So hold down the command and the shift key, and then tap the number 4. Once you do that, you can let go because your mouse turns into this little like, what's this called? The target, a little, the thing you shoot at. What's this thing called? Anyway, it turns it crosshairs or something like that. Okay. And so now with this crosshairs, and you got that by doing it again, Command Shift 4, Command Shift 4. And then you can choose at this point, for example, to do a screenshot of this whole area. You click and drag. And so say that's what you're screen shooting, and you let go. And as a Mac user, if you did that, you'll notice that a little photo appeared on the bottom of your screen, and then it settles itself onto your desktop. It's the only thing on the Mac that you should ever have on your desktop is these little screenshots, because after you post them on Padlet, you can get rid of them. This is just a screenshot for me to follow through with your work. So Mac people, did you make a screenshot? So if you didn't, if you're a Mac person, and if you didn't get into VDI and you're a Mac person, please do a screenshot of anything on your screen, because I still need you to post a screenshot on Padlet today. Okay. All right. PC people, how do you do a screenshot? PC people on a PC, there's also shortcuts. There's 2 kind of shortcuts. And in fact, let me, I'm going to head over for a second into the Padlet. There's a snipping tool where you can do a screenshot, or there's actually a set of shortcut keys as well, which copy, instead of saving it as a file, they copy a file. So if I'm on the PC, you hold down the Windows key, you know, the one on the bottom left that has the little Windows icon. So it's the Windows key, Shift and S. So if you do Windows key, Shift and S, then you get a similar crosshairs to what I just said, but as I'm on a Mac keyboard, I can't do that. And then you select an area, and that goes and copies itself on your clipboard. So that's the best way to do this, because then you just paste it into Padlet. Other than that, you can go here and find the snipping tool. And so you write snip, and you open the snipping tool, and the snipping tool, this is to create a file instead of just a copy. You say new, and then it also is kind of ghosted, and then you kind of do this and select, and that's the thing that you select. And then you have to save it. You have to go to File, Save As, and then call this one, whatever, Capture One, and then save it somewhere like on your desktop or something like that. So if that's what you do, that's fine. So that's the way to do it on a PC. But on a PC, it's easier to not save all these little files that you're not going to want. Just Windows key, Shift S copies that. All right. Now that you have, everyone has either a copy or a file on your desktop. If you're a Mac, I posted the link again, go to your Padlet. And now I am going to share Art Class Padlet. And you're all going to post your first Padlet. So let me share. And here's our Padlet. So Moni, Eugenia, and Rebecca have already posted theirs. My first post was how to make a screenshot, right? So here I have, you know, if you're on Windows, Windows key Shift S, if you're on a Mac, Shift Command 4, you know, I already gave you, if you're in a Chromebook, those are instructions. But Rebecca, Eugenia, and Moni have already posted theirs. So how do we do this? Because they've been in my classes before, they know how to do it. So we go to this little plus sign down here. And you first have to write your name. See how everyone wrote Rebecca, Eugenia, Moni. So put your name in here. I'm going to put Diana. And then you can either, if you see it there on the desktop, you can just drag a file in, right? I can just grab this and drag it in like that, but you might not see it on the desktop. If you have it pasted, then you can like actually paste, which is Control V for, for vase, Control V would paste it in here. You could, or you could click on this first little icon and it'll open up a little Finder window, which isn't being shared. So you can't see my Finder window. There we go. Opens the Finder window. And let me go to the Padlet again. And then I go to my desktop and then I choose the one that I want. And then I upload and then here it comes. So if you saved it on your documents folder somewhere else, here it comes. Now, ideally, you will also write here something like what it is. Like I just learned how to do whatever. So this is, he's showing me masking using, oh, yada, yada, whatever, right? So you can write whatever it is that you're showing me that you did. And then when you're done, or asking me a question, because this will be homework, you'll do things for homework and you'll say, hey, this worked or this didn't work. And then you'll hit publish. And then there it is, that's your post, okay? So yeah, so Jack, you did a screenshot of the survey. Ed did a railroad, and some of you guys did other stuff. So it's all posting and it's happening. While you guys do this, so please do this now. I want to have a screenshot from all of you guys posted, and I can repeat the instructions if necessary. But let me quickly show you. This is my dashboard. You don't have it, but let me give you an example of, this is the summer one, for example, from Photoshop. And so by the time we're done, the newest things get to the top. Everyone will have, this will be a very robust, over the time of class, people will be posting a lot of stuff, and that's kind of how it's going to work. And you might have questions. I use the healing brush tool to clone the woman, or I started with exposure, but then I use that, so you can write the things you're doing. Some people take a lot of notes. Rachel's really good at that. Some, here's a whole instruction that someone wrote, or you can just post it and tell me that's the new sky assignment, if you don't have any questions. So that's how this will end up, looking by the time we're done. But this is how I keep track of your guys's work. Okay. So anyone need a hand again, either in how to do a screenshot or how to post? I see Rachel, your hand is up.
Yes, I did a screenshot, but it was much bigger. I switched over to a MacBook Air, and it included the whole screen, not just, I thought I was going to get just the
Shift
umbrella.
Command 3 does that. Shift Command 3 shoots your entire window, your entire desktop.
Because I'm in VDI right now.
Oh, you're on VDI. You have to, on VDI, here, let me move to VDI. On VDI, you have to use the snipping tool, or because you're on a Mac, right?
I'm on a Mac, and I guess I don't know
on a
what the
Mac, you
snipping
can't
tool
do the
is.
shortcuts. On a Mac, you can't do the shortcuts for VDI because we don't have the
Oh.
Windows key. So if you're on a Mac, the only everything else has to be done inside of VDI. But if you're on a Mac, don't use the Windows way of doing the screenshot, because in the end, this is a window on a Mac. So if you're on a Mac on VDI, do the Mac shortcut, do Command Shift 4, take a screenshot by measure, Command Shift 4 like that, and then do your little area, click and drag. And then that'll go onto your desktop, not onto VDI. So then that'll work, because then when you click on the link that I give you for the Padlet, you can just post it straight out of your Mac desktop. Okay. So it's kind of the only time when in VDI you go out of PC mode is when you do a screenshot, because it's much easier to do it on a Mac. Otherwise, you have to access the VDI browser. It's just too complicated. Just do it this way.
Okay.
Yeah. All right. Deborah.
I'm just slow, I think. Could you quickly go through the Padlet part? I got the screenshot, but how to put it on the Padlet?
Mac or PC?
A Mac.
Okay. So do you see in the chat did you get to the Padlet? Did you click on the link to get to the Padlet?
You know what? I probably didn't.
Okay, so here we go.
Scrambling. I'm gonna do it right
posting-
now.
Oh, I just put it in the chat one more time. There's the link. Click on that link
Okay, yeah, here we go.
and you should arrive here. Now, I'm not
Okay.
seeing anything from Shelley or, let me see. I mean, there's a lot of people here who I'm not seeing. Rebecca, Dan. So if you haven't been able to post, please ask me. So someone just posted something that says anonymous. Now, if you just posted and this looks like your screenshot, I don't know who
me.
you are.
It's Shelley.
Yeah, so Shelley, so go back into this. I can do it, but you can do it too. Click here where it says edit, click on that and then add your name. Okay? Because I
Okay.
won't know in the future who it is. Now I can do it if you tell me it's Shelley, but you have to switch that yourself. Because again, many times the screenshots will look pretty similar, right? So I won't know who's turning in their assignment. So one more time. So Deborah, head over to this little plus sign at the bottom here, right there.
Okay.
Click on that.
Okay, I did.
Put your name at the top. So
At
put
the-
your name here.
You mean where it says subject?
Yeah. Mhm.
Okay.
Name. And then do you know where did you save your screenshot somewhere? Did you-
I know I have to go get it. It's on my desktop.
on your Mac, it's on your desktop. So then click over here. And then go, and again, when I do this, the share doesn't share, but your Finder opens up. I need to reshare to get the Finder to be visible.
Okay, I'm getting there.
It takes a second to get there. And then just click on the word desktop here on the left side and then find your screenshot.
Okay,
And,
I can do this. I'm just slower than you're saying it, but I understand. It should come up on the Padlet when I do that, right? Okay, I'll get it.
and then wait, but then once you say whatever you say about it,
Uh-huh.
you have to hit publish. Okay, the last
Okay.
is to hit publish,
Okay.
and there it goes.
Okay, thank you.
Now I am seeing that I am me, but everyone else shows up as anonymous because you don't have accounts. And the only way for me to know who you are is if you write your name, Jack, Moni, etc. Okay. And we don't have repeat names here, so that's okay. When there's two Johns or like that, you need to say your last name, but this is fine. Dan, your hand was up, but it's gone now. Did your question get answered? All right. So is anyone else needing help with the posting? Has everyone posted? I can't right now look and check at everyone, but I want to make sure that everyone did do it. Okay. Now, if for any reason you want to get rid of your post, of course, you could go back and edit and just, delete it. But, don't, because as I said, I need these to know that what you're doing. All right, cool. So let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And 1, 2, 3, Caroline. I don't think I see one from you. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So 2 of you haven't posted anything. So please post. So here you go, Deborah. You posted one, but the image didn't get added.
You know what
that's
happened?
okay.
Yeah, the screenshot is enormous. So
Well, it doesn't matter necessarily. Go over here to the edit, click on edit, and it'll open up again, and then go
Okay.
try to get it in there again. Now,
okay.
I recommend screenshots. What I don't want you to put in here are actual full-on file. JPEGs are okay, but some people want to say I was doing this, and you put in a whole PSD file. We'll talk about what that means with many layers.
Edit.
That doesn't work because then I have to download it. But a big file that's a JPEG is fine. It just shows up here small. It doesn't matter. It's not a big deal if it's too large. So if it's you mean too large, like you got the whole page window, that's fine too. Just I want to make sure
Just
that you
get something on there. Okay, hey,
You'll get
I'll do my
better.
best.
You can practice doing screenshots all week. Right now,
Screenshots I'm used to. I'm just having trouble learning this, but I'll get it. I just haven't
Right.
got it.
Well, can you see how when I hover over yours, it says edit? I can click on that and it opens up again. Then on
Okay,
this,
I'm not looking at Padlet yet. Hold on, I'm
Oh.
discombobulated.
that's fine. I'll let you
Oh.
let you do it at your time. I don't want to get you frustrated. Who else didn't post in here? Caroline, did you post something?
Not yet. I'm trying to find my screenshot.
Okay, great. Are you on a Mac or on a PC?
Mac.
Oh, okay, I see that.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Okay, so if you're on a Mac, your screenshot is on your desktop. By default, that's what it does. So if you want to share your screen, I can help you find it. Same with Deborah, anyone who needs a hand, because we're going to do this 2-3 times per class. Okay. We're going to be posting screenshots, sometimes more, sometimes one. I mean, if I forget to, here's the thing, now and then I forget to tell you to do a screenshot. So you're welcome to say, hey, should we screenshot this? And I'll go, yes, of course. Or if you can see that you've done a step that's changed your image really well, and I forgot, then, you know, I'm showing you the tools for Camera Raw, just do a screenshot and post it. You don't need to have me always remind you, but at the very least, I would like 2 or 3 a day. And if you're doing any homework and you're doing your own work on your own files, this is my goal. Yes, you can work on my files during class. Yes, I'll tell you what to do. I don't tell you what to do. Like, I don't teach as in put 30 here, 40 there, 20 here to get the perfect photo, because that doesn't teach you anything. I teach you how to do a tool, and then you have to decide how you want to make your photo look. So your photo is not going to look the same as everyone else. By the time you're done, your editing will be different than someone else's editing. But the best thing you can do, as far as I'm concerned, is to then open up your own images. They don't need to be great. They don't need to be awesome. They can be any old thing. You just picked up the phone and chopped the tuft of grass from your garden, but you apply one of the things that we learned that day and you post it. And that's actually learning. It's doing it on your own. You don't have to do that. I highly recommend you do that, because that's when questions will come up. Because when I guide you and you're good at following directions, it'll work. What will happen is when you do it on your own, you'll go, oh, well, that thing you told me didn't happen, or this thing didn't work, or that thing, you know? And so that's when we'll know, I'll know if it's working or not. So I just offered Caroline or Deborah, if you want to share your screen, so I can help you with a screenshot, but neither one seems to be taking me up on it.
Well, I can share my screen. I've got so many things open right now.
You don't have
I'm close.
If you want to, you can ask me later. I don't want to.
Yeah, I don't want to hold things up. I'd rather just
keep
trying.
You know what? Thank you for saying that. Right now, I know that this is something that you'll do. You can watch on the recording or whatever, but you're not going to be held up by not doing this, because you'll do it later. But a lot of the time when we're in Photoshop, if you say that kind of thing, all of you, not now, her, when you say, I don't want to hold you up, then I just want to let you know that that's actually completely the opposite way. What I'm trying to say is, if we're in Photoshop and I'm moving on to step 10 and you're still in step 1, you won't come back next week. That's no good for you or for me. I'm trying to teach you. I want you to be successful. B, if in the moment it doesn't work, you ask me, then it takes me 2 seconds to help you. And the whole class moves forward to step 10. But if I'm in step 10 and you're still in step 1, when you finally say it's not working for me, I have to make everyone wait, and I have to show you 10 steps. That is actually making us take longer than if in the moment you say, no, show me right now. I show you right now. We all move together. Does that make sense what I'm saying?
It does.
It's hard for people to want to say that, but trust me, I've been teaching for bazillions of years. If you fix the problem in the morning, in the moment it happens, then you are not holding up the class. Holding up the class is not speaking up. Or making me and you feel like a failure is not coming back because you don't want to share your screen. So please don't ever feel bad. If I have you share your screen, it's because I want to help you. And if I were in class, it would be so easy. I'd stand behind you and I'd kind of point to your desk and you'd do it, and that's good. The only solution I have here is for you to share your screen. It takes a second. People who, once you do it one time, all the permissions are given. It's like, boom, boom, share. I look at it and I go, oh yeah, it's that. Stop the share, we continue. But if you're trying to explain to me what's happening, your explanation is off, my explanation is off, and we take 10 minutes. So it's the fastest solution is to share your screen. I see immediately the issue. I tell you the issue, we stop the share, and it's only been 30 seconds. So sharing your screen is faster than not wanting to interrupt.
I'll share my screen.
Trust me on that one?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All
I
right.
can share my screen if you want me to.
It's hard, especially if, you know, there's some people here who were the first time they took the class had to share their screen all the time and had 20 questions and they felt bad. And you know who you are. At this point, you guys are here helping others. But why? Because you stuck with it and shared your screen a bunch of times. And I'm not going to name names, but you all know who you are, which is maybe 5 or 6
Okay.
of you had to do that all the time. And now, not only are you comfy with sharing your screen, but you're also good at Photoshop because you didn't stop. All right. Okay, so now you're showing me your screenshot. By sharing this screenshot, I can't see the whole process. So back out, start sharing
Okay.
again. But this time, when you say share, you have to share your, I'm going to stop your share. Go ahead
Okay.
and say
now-
share again.
Okay, so now what I'm seeing is
Choose your
you
desktop.
and
Yeah, so go and say share your screen again, and then choose the choice that's at the top left that says desktop. So I can see everything.
desktop.
Yeah. Once you
I'm
share,
looking
say
at so
share,
many things, I can't.
the
Where's
top left,
desktop?
the top left choice is always your desktop. Top left choice. Share that one with me.
Top left choice.
Yeah.
No.
After you click the share screen button, you get a window with a lot of little windows. The top left is always the entire desktop.
Oh, yeah, I know what you mean now. But I already went through that window, so.
Okay, well, say cancel and start again. Click on the little red button on the top left. Because I need to see the
on the
entire
top
window.
left screen, this button.
Start the share screen again. Click on the share screen one more time.
Okay, hold on.
And then top
Share
left
screen.
choice.
Okay.
And
That's
after you choose top left choice, now go to the bottom right to the little share blue button with white
So
letters.
the desktop, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. So now I see your entire desktop. So now go and click on the left side. You have your Padlet. I see your Padlet there. Click on the Padlet.
Tablet.
Yep, that one.
Yep, right there.
Good. And now, Deborah, click on that first little green, dark green icon under Deborah. Yeah, click on that. And now go on the left side of your screen on the sidebars, click on the desktop. There we go. Cool.
Oh, there I am. Okay.
Screenshot, which you have made quite a few. Click on one of them.
Yeah, I just click on one. Okay.
It doesn't matter. And now go say upload. Perfect. And now,
yay,
up there, click on the little publish button and you're set.
Hooray.
And that will publish. Okay. So there you go. That took
Thank
2
you.
seconds, didn't it? Once, and the only thing that takes a bit of time is the first time you share. I need to tell you how to share. But once you get over the how to share, then it really is 2 seconds because I know exactly what to tell you how to do it because I'm seeing what's happening. All right. Thank you, Deborah. And anyone else who had any hesitation about sharing, hopefully, you know, Deborah's courage worked it through. See how quickly that went. Your first share ever, if you're on a Mac, I need to tell you how to, the permissions thing. So I already did it with Caroline before. The permissions things takes a little while. That's it. Once you've given permissions now, if Caroline wants to share again, that's it. Boom, share. People on the PC, you don't have to give permissions. You just share and boom, it shares. So it's just Mac people who have to jump through some hoops because Macs are very private based and they want to make sure that you are truly wanting to share your screen with the world. And thus it makes you jump through some privacy security hoops. All right. So hopefully there's an anonymous up there that just appeared. Anyone?
That's me, Carolyn.
Okay. So can you go and hover over the word anonymous and onto the right, you'll see it says edit. Click on edit and add your name to that. You see what I'm talking about when I say that? There's 3 little dots on your post. You can click on those 3 little dots and you can edit. You can open post or just the little word edit pops in. All right. Cool. Success. Everyone posted something. And if you are not sure you got it, you can try again. I'm going to actually get rid of Deborah's empty post. There you go, since you have a complete one now. And I'm looking at the time. And yes, we have a little bit of time left to continue with Photoshop. Hallelujah. All right. Cool. Let's go back to Photoshop. My screen now. All my different versions. Here we go. Okay. So back to Photoshop. We've done anything that has to do with admin and typing and how the class works. It's all done. From now on, it's just full on Bridge in Photoshop. All right. Let me give you one last time, because after this I'll forget and then the class will be over. I have one last time. I am posting the survey link in here. So if you haven't yet clicked on the survey link, which is the last one I just put in a second ago, open it up, because once class closes, you won't have this link unless you pick it up from the handouts, right? So click on it now, open it up as a tab, and then you can fill it up at your leisure. Some of you might have already filled it up while I was helping people with a Padlet or with other stuff, but there we go. All right, Photoshop. Yay. So I'm on the Mac version right now, and the first thing that we're going to notice, Mac or PC, it doesn't matter, is that your window or mine might be looking a little bit different. I might have stuff here that's different than what you have. I might have things here everywhere that's different than you have, because when Photoshop first opens, it opens in certain default settings, and we're going to modify those default settings so that we all have the exact same, it's called workspace, okay? So there's so many different tools. Photoshop, it's like opening a Pandora's box. You open it up and you can do watercolors, collage, 3D, film, animations, photo retouching, filters. So you can only see a certain amount of tools at a time. So in order for us to all be on the same page, we need to make sure that our workspace is the same. So at the very, very, very top, over to the far right, this is how it looks on a Mac. You have this little kind of square, if you click on it, and my screen isn't sharing it well because it's pulling over there, but I'll show it better on the PC. It says Essentials 3D Motion Pairing Photography. Look what happens when I click on, for example, Motion. See how my screen, my workspace changed tremendously? Then I click in here and I'm going to go to Graphic and Web, and my screen is changing, and so on and so on. I want us to land on photography. I want us to land on photography. And then I want you to go down and say reset photography. It's just two things you need to do. You need to first say choose photography, then you need to go back onto it and say reset photography. Then I'm going to do it on the PC. So here it is. Again, it looks a little bit different over here because you have these little X's and stuff, but that's the same little box. You click on that there. And again, we're going to choose photography. And then we're going to choose reset photography. And at that point, all of our windows should look identical. If your window looks different than mine, then let me know. Other than that, we'll continue. So if you are not seeing where to change your workspace, or if your workspace does not look like mine, then give me a hey ho. Other than that, and then if you have no idea where this is, and you're like, oh, I don't want to say it because everyone else got it and I didn't, this is the time to speak up. I'll show you again where it is, because I really need everyone, when I say go get this tool, to have the same tools available in me. So again, furthest top right, a little box right there. When you hover over these things, a little tooltip appears, like I'm not clicking. If I hover over anything and I wait, it tells me that's the history. I hover over this one, it tells me that's zoom the 3D camera. If I hover over this one, it tells me choose a workspace. It's the choose a workspace button that I need to click to go to photography, and then once again to reset photography. Now, pay attention here. If you're on VDI, you have this weird little tab. This is an intrusion that if I click on it, it gives me all of these like VDI things. If this happens to you and you click on it, just click on that tab again and it'll go away. It's kind of like one of those little file tabs that opens up and closes. And it's in the way of one or two of the tools. But other than that, you can kind of work sideways around it. It's okay. So that's just a VDI thing. That's not a Photoshop thing. Now, when we look at these tools here, some of you see all the tools like I see, but they get cut out. Like it gets to the bottom and you don't see them all. And others of you see all of the tools and then you see some gray space. Now I'm in the same computer, but I'm showing you the VDI Mac version, PC version and my Mac version. And the big difference is screen resolution, right? So on my Mac version, I have a pretty high screen resolution and I am able to, all my tools fit and more, but everything looks really tiny and I have a lot of extra space. The VDI version is set on the screen resolution that the school set up and there's not enough space to see all my tools. See how I'm running a little bit short here? So if I want to see all of my tools, I can go to this little double-headed arrow right there and click on it. And then the tools kind of double up so that I see the stuff that was in the bottom. So if your situation is where your tools are getting kind of truncated, just click on this little double-headed arrow and then they will like line up side by side. If you do this and then I'm pointing to a tool and you can't find it, remind me that yours are doubled up so that I can show you, because this tool is here, but the other one's down here. And then when I'm showing it you here, it might be kind of all in a row. But so that should kind of take care of everyone seeing the tools that it's on the left side. Okay. This little double-headed arrow, teensy little double-headed arrow, you'll see it in many places. And it always means expand or collapse. So you look around and you'll see that little thing everywhere. So if I click on it here, it means expand. And then when I click on it again, it's collapse. Okay. And here again, expand or collapse. So it depends on if it's already expanded or collapsed. So just know that that's expanding and that's collapsing. That always means that. Now, on the left side, you have your tools. On the top, you have some ways to modify those tools. And then on the right, so these are directly related to these tools. So watch, if I click on this tool, I have this appears. If I click on this tool, see how all of this changed? Because this is the move tool and those are ways to modify the move tool. If I click on the marquee tool, that's the way to modify the marquee tool. Click on the eyedropper. That's how to modify the eyedropper, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense? So what you see on the top here will be changing all the time based on what tool you're choosing over here. Now, on the right side, on the other hand, we have what we call palettes or windows that offer other tools that I can use to modify, to change, and to do things. But we're not always going to be seeing the same things. Sometimes, even though I'm in the photography tool, maybe I want to do something that's not here. Like I might want to put some text in this photo, but I don't see any text palette here. So if I'm missing a palette that I want, all the other possible palette, like for example, had I gone to the graphic and web, for example, I would have all of the type tools here, right there, given to me, right? But since I was in the photography mode, hold on, I'm having a little thinking moment for my computer. Okay, here we go. But since I was in the photography mode, the type tools aren't available handy. So any tool that I want that's not handy available from the beginning, I will find under window right there. So I go to window and then I'll say, well, I want the character tools, which are the type tools or something like that. So I click on character tools and here they go. They add themselves to this little bar. This wasn't there before. They just added themselves there because I just called them up. So you can modify by calling up anything you need. So now I'm going to call up, I don't know, my whatever, my patterns. So there you go. Now suddenly I have patterns here. So these are all things that kind of get added up here. So these are already expanded, but these, if I click on them, they kind of appear and I click again and they disappear. They appear and disappear. They appear and disappear. If I want to see them, I can expand them, but then it takes up so much space that my image gets smaller and smaller. So it's collapsed. I get a little icon and then they appear and disappear. Does that make sense? So now I want you guys to modify and mess up things. And so this is the part where I teach you how to do this. And then after that, we'll all establish a workspace that works for us. Now, some of these palettes appear just kind of in the middle of nowhere. So for example, if I click on glyphs, nope, this one is also setting itself in there. Sometimes they appear just kind of floating. I'm trying to find one that floats, but it would seem that everything I'm opening is not floating for some reason. They're all popping themselves in here. Let me give you an example of something that floats. Sometimes when they open up, they end up like that. You know, they're not in there, they're floating around, and it depends on what's happening and what's not. So if this is the same panel that was there, but it's floating around, well, let's go ahead and grab any of these things that's there. I'm going to grab this one that says adjustments, and I'm going to drag it out. How did I do that? I cut it by its name, by the little tab that holds its name. I can grab channels and just drag them out. So now, by now I've made a huge mess. Everything is looking really different. I can't know where everything is. I could click one here and turn it off, but then it's gone. Or I myself can drag it from its name again and put it somewhere else. And I can move it here and see where it gets blue. It's telling me it's going to go in there. Or I'll grab this one and I'll put it in there, and so I've messed everything up. I've done, so it's like, okay, I kind of need to go to 0. As I'm saying this, please do that. Mess your palettes up, do stuff, drag things out, close things. Here's another little double-headed arrow. I can collapse it so that it's like floating really tiny to get it out of the way, and then I open it up again. Sometimes you need your tool to be right there to handle something that's there, so you drag it out. Anyway, so as you can see, we can make huge messes, we can make stuff, and I need to go back to 0, and that's what's good. We'll go back in here and reset photography. Phew. And it all kind of cleans up, and I go back to that default beginning setting. Does that make sense?
No, what did you do there?
So I messed up things, I added things, I opened things that were missing. So if it's a check mark, that means I have it open. If it's not checked, that means I get to open something new, right? So I messed things up. And then over here in the workspace where we first chose photography, right? My photography now is messed up. So I'm going to go back to it and now say reset.
Got it.
And when I reset, it all goes back to kind of 0 for photography, which is not the same as 0 for anything else. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Now, everything I'm teaching you right now is the same for Bridge. For those of you who are going to go on with Illustrator or something like that, this is just how Adobe programs work. So remember, I told you that in Bridge, you also had, you know, workflow, metadata, or other stuff. This is just different ways, keywords, you know, it's different ways to see your workspace. And let's, in this case, go back to essentials. And if you want to edit them over here, you can add more stuff. So anyway, the word workspace is that. What do you see? What tools do you have available to begin to work with? Okay. So we're going to begin working with this group of what the basic reset photography says. We're not going to do that right now. But what if you aren't happy with any of these basic ones and you want some of these tools and some of those tools and some of the third tools? Well, you can create your own. You can create a new workspace called Diana's Workspace and pull out all the tools that you're going to need yourself, and you save it, and then you go to Diana's Workspace, right? So you have, you know, you can work around that kind of stuff. We're not going to do that right now, but just so you know, you'll end up knowing what you do most in Photoshop and want to accumulate the tools that are most useful to you. I always make the you know, I think of a studio where people do all kinds of art, or for some reason, kindergarten came to me, my kids' preschool, that I would go in, and there's this little corner where they did cooking, the little corner where they did, you know, hammering, the one where they did, you know, painting. It's like, there's so much to do. You can only put some toys out at a time, right? And so this is it. You just bring out what you need and you put the rest away. Now, a few more things about that. The palettes here are clustered in groups. So the histogram here also has a tab called Navigator. So it's one palette, but you have 2 tabs in it. Or in the layers tab, you have channels and paths and layers, but it's like one group. Does that make sense? So layers, channels, and paths all come together. If I click over here, this would be the group. Like this group has these 2 things, this one and this one, right? So if I open one, I'll see the 2 tabs over there. So anyway, it's just that, and you might need only one of them always or not, but they come in kind of groups of things, right? And others are just on their own. So the clone source is just on its own, right? If I open character, if I go to Windows and say character, for example, and it opens up, then it comes with character and paragraph, right? And then since I didn't have it before, it settles itself in here. Okay, I'm going to reset again. All right, so that's playing around with that. Last thing I want to tell you about, there's 2 more things I want to tell you about workspaces, and then we'll be done. Look at these tools, because these, I've been showing you how much they change, but these tools here also change a lot. It's much harder to see that they're changing because it's just a tiny little switch. So right now we're in the photography workspace, right? So keep an eye on my screen. Don't look at yours. Don't do this. And look at this little like Band-Aid looking thing right there. Keep an eye on that Band-Aid looking thing. Okay. I'm going to switch to a different workspace. Now keep an eye on that Band-Aid thing. Don't look at what I'm doing here. Did you see how suddenly things changed here? It's so much more subtle that you can't tell, but look at how different my tools look. Keep your eyes on here, right here on this little thing that looks like a patch. And I'm going to switch to that one. See how those changed again? So it's just not the obvious ones that change. There's a change here too. And so you might not be looking forever to a tool. It was here. I know it was supposed to be here. Why is it gone? And it's not that it's gone. It's just that you changed workspace. Okay. So the Essentials workspace is the one that has a little bit of everything, a little bit of photography, a little bit of text, a little bit of coloring, a little bit of painting. It's like kind of a little generic one. And then you get into slightly more specific ones. Just for the fun of it, sometimes I start with the Essentials, sometimes I start with photography. When I'm in my web classes, I go to that one. In my design classes, I go to that one. We're going to start with photography right now, but I just wanted you to be aware that these also change. And if you ever want any of the tools here, and this is like a little bit extra, too much, bit TMI here, but if you click on these little 3 dots there, no, not that one. It's not that one. Hold on. Oh, because this is the one where I'm not seeing all my tools. Hold on. Let me go to this one where I see all my tools. You can modify. Where are they? I was going to say how you can get to all your tools. Sorry, escape that. Sometimes things mess up. That's what I was trying to do. Suddenly you go, whoa, what happened? There's all these things that suddenly your screen goes like berserk. Well, guess what? You already know how to get away from berserk mode, because as long as you can still see that little workspace thing, you can always go reset, please. And it resets. Now this did reset, but it's still got like, how do you call it? It got into full screen mode. So I'm gonna leave hold on. I need to stop my share for a second because my tool is outside of my sharing sphere. Hold on. I need to go back to my here. I'm showing you how to do this and it's not letting me. Hello. I'm making it worse because now I can't. There we go. Let me share my screen again. I was in full screen mode and the Zoom tools don't let me. It's so weird, but the Zoom tool, oh, I'm missing one window. The Zoom tools don't let me minimize that stuff, but there's a tool on the Mac. When I share, you notice that when I share stuff that goes to the side, it doesn't show me everything. And so the tool I needed was outside of the spectrum if I could show. So there's a tool there that allowed me to come back to 0. So I'm back to 0 again. So be careful. whenever you do weird things like that, consider that going back to the reset is good, or sometimes you need to go up to window. I'm going to show you, this is easier to show it in the PC version because the Windows stuff is there. You go over here and you can rearrange your workspaces from here. Okay. You can kind of go back to 0 from here on the word window. As much as Windows where you open what's missing, it's also where you access other ways that the workspace can work. Okay. Last but not least, and then we'll be done, is this little guy. So this little guy here, I'm dragging from this line. If I drag it from this line, it's neutral. Nothing is happening. It's just moving around. Okay. This is new. This appeared in Photoshop 2023. It wasn't there in 2022. So people who've been using Photoshop forever, who never upgraded to last year's version, haven't seen this yet. Or people who have been doing Photoshop but, you know, might have turned it off, because you can easily turn it off, might not know it's there. But this thing is a contextual bar. And if you, I find it's supposed to be really helpful. I find that it is helpful for me because I know what I'm doing. I'm not sure how helpful it is for someone who's new to this. So last summer, this summer is the first time that I had my students use it. You guys who are new to this might tell me if it's more helpful or not to you in the end. But something contextual is supposed to be helpful because it only gives you the tools necessary based on what is available to you. So it's not going to give me tools to do an animation when I only have one screen, right? One image, but it's giving me tools that are possible right now based on what I am doing. Now watch, if I have, and I'm not going to teach you how to do selection right now, but say that I'm selecting something. I'm going to select something now. See how that toolbar now changed? That's the same toolbar, but the options it's giving me are different. Why? Because now I have a selection. When I didn't have this selection, we'll talk about what all these means in a minute. I'm just trying to get you to understand that what's happening here is that that bar is going to keep changing, and it even moves itself. See how it moved itself from down there? I'll make a selection up here, and a little toolbar will appear up here of all the kind of things that it thinks I might mostly do to that selection. If I'm going to go and do a selection here, the toolbar moved over here with, again, things that are possible. Like what I could do now, I could fill it, I could delete it, I could mask it, I could make it bigger, I could make it smaller. So all those tools are here. Now, of course, since I have been doing Photoshop forever, I know where all those things are in the rest of Photoshop. So I don't need them to be here personally for me. But I think that maybe for new people, it might be useful if you don't know where to find how to expand your selection, which I happen to know that if I select something and I want to expand it, I go up to select, then I go to modify and I expand it from there. But if you don't know that, maybe it's nice to know that when you do a selection, Photoshop is giving you the tools to expand right here. See what I mean? It's kind of trying to give you tools at your fingertips, which I think might be good for new people. You'll tell me, okay? I know where these things are in real life. So for me, it's kind of a hassle, a thing that moves around with me. That said,
Diana,
you could pin it somewhere or get rid of it. If you go over here, you could hide it. You could pin it to say only in one place always, or you can move it back to where it is. Yes.
you actually said it. I mean, I've been using it both in this and also in the beta. And actually, after you start using it, it's pretty cool, even if you know what you're doing.
Exactly.
But I always pin it because it drives me nuts when it moves all over the screen.
Yeah. So if I select that and it moves up there, maybe I want to see something right under there, and then I have to grab it and move it. So if you pin it, then you can choose a place for it, like always there, and then you pin it there, then it always stays there. And then no matter that I select over there, it only happens that it shows up there. That's one way. I'm going to unpin it because I want to show you the default way, which is that it comes up and it, you set bar position. So it comes up to wherever I go, because that's the default version of it. Yes. And I've been using Photoshop since Photoshop 1. I don't even, it's embarrassing. I don't know how many years, 30, It's ridiculous how many years I've been using it. So I know shortcuts for everything. It's intuitive to me. It's much faster to just go and get it done. But it takes a while to get to that. And the other day I was testing something out and I had to do something new, a new tool that's been developed. And I didn't know where to find it. And so I went and lo and behold, that thing I was trying to do, it was here. And I'm like, aha. So for things that you don't know, it's actually kind of useful. So anyway, I'll be using it. I'll show you where to do it one way or another. I'll show you the shortcuts, but then I'll also be showing you how that thing that we need happens to have appeared on this bar. So I'll do my best to incorporate it into everything that we do. That's new to a lot of you guys. But if you're new to Photoshop, it's like, hey, this is just how it is. So that's great. All right. That's a lot of how the toolbars work, the Photoshop works. When we start next week, a lot of you will have opened Photoshop for the first time ever. And so when you open it for the first time ever, it's probably going to be set up here in Essentials. And we're going to reset to whatever we want that day. So if all you want to go to Essentials right now, that's good. And then we're going to take some things out. We're going to do a basic setup of how I want the toolbar to be for the rest of our classes. And then we're going to start working in Photoshop. Okay. Class has been over for 3 minutes. I'm sorry that I've gone over. Let's close this correctly for Rebecca. I need to show you how to get out of VDI correctly. Everyone else, you can just go up to the name of this file. And when you go, you'll see a little X on the right side if it's a Mac. If it's a PC, you'll see the X on the other side. Oh, I was on the PC. On the Mac, you'll see it on the left side. On the PC, you'll see it on the right side. See, so many times that's the only big difference between C and Macs. Close it from there. And then you can quit the programs. You can close them. Now, the only person I want to spend an extra time with here is VDI, because Rebecca and anyone who's on VDI, you have to back out kind of carefully. Everyone else just close, do whatever, and it's fine. But I have a meeting right after class, and so my alarm's reminding me not to forget. So on the VDI, which is a PC, you close the program from this X. On the Mac, you close it from the quit. I'm going to also close Bridge from here. And Rebecca, you need to sign out of Google Drive. If you don't, next week your files will show up as corrupted. So this is how you do it. I know, yeah, and it won't be corrupted, but it's because you need to sign in and sign out. They won't be corrupted. You'll have to sign in and sign out, but we might as well sign out now and sign in when we start. So you go to this little arrow right there, the one where we had gone to before, and go to the little Google Drive icon. And it's 2 steps. You go to the gears and you go to preferences.
You're way ahead of me.
Okay, so go to this little corner. Everyone else, great meeting some of you. We will put hands on the mud, so to say, and start doing some fun stuff next week. If you have files that you're interested in sharing with me, questions that you have about things that you're trying to do that aren't working, please either, ideally post it on Padlet. You can email me. If it's a long answer, I'll answer in class. But if you post it on Padlet, I'll be able to see what it is that you're talking about. So please feel free to share with me things you're doing, stuff like that. There's no specific homework right now other than get Photoshop and Bridge installed, set up, and running. That's the thing we need. Okay. So if you need to leave now, go ahead and leave. I'll email you that list of links so that you can catch up with links, and I'll see you all on Friday.
Thank you, Diana.
Rebecca, don't leave.
Okay, I'm not.
So this little arrow right there. Are you there now?
No, I don't have that page.
Okay, you're in VDI, right?
I'm in VMware Horizon.
Yeah. So you had Photoshop open and you don't have the taskbar down here? For Photoshop, for Bridge, this little taskbar is always there. If not, you need to share your screen.
Okay, yes.
You see it now?
Yes.
Okay. So then go to this little tiny
arrow. Yes.
Google Drive.
Okay.
And now go to the gears icon.
Mm-hmm.
Go to preferences.
It's asking me to take a tour. No, thanks.
So thanks. Right, and then go to the gears icon again. And then disconnect account.
Disconnect.
That's it. Disconnect. Yep. Disconnect. Then what happens is that the good old sign in will pop in. And that's how you want it to be, so that when you see, there it is. Now you're disconnected. So next time you connect, you'll have to sign in again right here before you start with Photoshop, right? So you connect when you open and you disconnect. If you forget to do,
I'm
you're
not back to the Google Drive. I still have the bridges open.
yeah, close Bridge now, close Photoshop. It doesn't matter.
Okay.
It's independent. Close Bridge, close Photoshop, and walk out. But the Google Drive is really important because it's not corrupting your files. But if you don't sign out, then next week when you come in, you would see this window, right? Because it stays signed in. And when you open Bridge, all your files will have like lines and bars across it, and it'll say that they're corrupted. And they're not. So what you'll have to do is you'll have to go do this. You'll have to go and disconnect, and then you'll have to reconnect, and then your files will be fine. But it's like easier to just disconnect when you leave and connect when you come in. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's just a bit of a hassle, but other than that, it's the steps. Now we're going to leave VDI by clicking on the start button, and we're going to turn off our VDI computer. We're going to go here to the power button. Click on power, and then we'll say
I don't have that. I don't know if it's because I'm on Chrome or because the Zoom is on Safari.
Zoom or Chrome. This is the same place where you see Google Drive, sign in with browser. You saw that, right? That popped in?
No. I can
you signed
put in
out?
my password because thing is with Chrome doesn't know anything about me.
It doesn't matter. This isn't about Chrome or not. You're in VDI right now. VDI is you're at the school's computer. You're not in yours. So
Okay.
it has nothing to do yet with you. Unless you already left. Did you close this window or something? No. I'm going to share your screen. I don't know. Maybe you already went and closed the window. And so I'm trying to show you how to back out of. Go ahead and share your screen. Yeah, you closed the tab. You just left it, and that's why it's gone. Okay. That's okay. It's not ideal. Okay, but that's what you did. That's okay. I'm going to show you so you know for next time.
Okay.
Although next time you said you're going to buy it. But anyway, so you have to go and this is a computer that you've opened in your browser. You have to go over and turn off this computer because you're leaving. It shuts down. It disconnects.
No, I never saw that.
And you go to Horizon and disconnect from Horizon. You log out and you say, okay, and then you're back into the entry. What you did is you probably just closed the tab and it all just closed. So when you open it next week, you might have things that are kind of semi-open, but that's okay. As long as Google Drive was well closed, that's the one that's the biggie. The rest probably won't matter too much. Okay.
I will play with it.
Yeah, but you're going to buy your software, right? So don't spend too much time worrying about this. Spend time installing your applications.
Okay, thank you.
All right, you're welcome. Bye.
Bye.